Ooh.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Under the Table. After a long hiatus, the show has finally returned. Ignore that we had my Facebook Messenger sound effect playing at some point during that intro. You must ignore these things because they are not intended to be part of the show. My guest today is the one, the only, the master chef at the cuisine of the crime, the Duke of Discipline himself. It's Mr. DOPPIO DROPSCYTHE. DOPPIO, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. You know, I think the best part about waking up every day is that, who knows, you might just wake up with a completely different title added to your belt. That's me.
That's exactly right, and I love that attitude from you, especially. So, the first question that I ask any guest on this show, what are you going to be drinking tonight? And I'll tell you, chat, before we got started, he was like, oh, I've cooked up something special. Got something special planned, and I told him to save it so that we could learn what it is now. So, what is it? What have you got?
All right, so I tell my chat, that I never, ever drink. Like, ever. Like, ever. But I thought that I would kind of do something a little bit different.
Oh?
So, there aren't really any places around here that you can easily get alcohol, especially if you're like a student at the institute and stuff. But I figured out a loophole. And I think it's probably the most genius thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. So, I have this friend at school, right?
Okay.
He told me, hey, did you know that some people are so down to drink alcohol that when they run out of alcohol inside of their house, like when they run out of like liquor to drink or like vodka to drink, they'll take those alcohol that you use to like clean stuff and they'll just like jug it down. Right?
Right, yes, go on.
So some people do that. Now, I don't have that, but I do have another cleaning liquid that I'm going to combine with my orange juice. And it's gonna be my first ever drink alcoholic ever.
Okay. Listen. You're a very clever guy, DOPPIO. You're a very responsible adult. I really appreciate that you're so keen on being a part of this show. Example, I'm drinking lager beer today. That is only about 5% alcohol. Cleaning liquid or rubbing alcohol is 100% alcohol. People who drink this kind of stuff, they die, DOPPIO. They go blind.
Oh.
And then they die. If you're gonna have a drink, just have the orange juice by itself. You're under no obligation to require to drink alcohol today. And if the only alcohol you have available is hand sanitizer, I'm gonna suggest maybe don't do that. To those of you listening at home, do not do what this man is doing. I swear to God.
I mean, on one hand, the orange juice and stuff is already mixed, but on the other hand, it's not, so you're talking about percentage of alcohol. So what's the percentage of alcohol in vinegar?
In vinegar? They don't...
Yeah.
They don't... I mean, most vinegar you put on your chips, like, I wouldn't have thought that was alcoholic, is it? I mean, children are putting that on their chips.
No, but it's a cleaning liquid, isn't it?
Vinegar? Hang on a minute. Let me Google it. Vinegar content in alcohol content. This is in vinegar. What are...
No, I'm sure that there are people...
usually has 0.3 to 0.4% alcohol, a very small amount.
So I'm sure that there's a lot of people in chat who are like, hey, I use vinegar to do stuff. Yeah, there are people who use vinegar to like clean their windows. Sometimes when there's like mold, I'll spray it with vinegar. So, you know, you can clean with vinegar. It just takes a lot of vinegar and elbow grease.
I'm sure you can. So, are you going to be drinking vinegar for us today?
Yeah, it's a special occasion.
Let's go, vinegar. All right. I mean, why don't you? I mean, don't let me stop you. You know, I've already cracked into my little drink. Why don't you start up your own? Tell us what it's like. I mean, this is a new experiment. The vinegar, not the cleaning liquid.
Okay, so I think the first thing I do before I drink this is that I need to name it, right?
Right.
So it's orange juice plus vinegar. I'll call it orange vinegar.
Orange vinegar. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new drink invented today. Orange vinegar. Tell us, Pio-chan, what is it like?
The thing is that gin is like an alcohol drink, right? So yes. I did it. I made it. I successfully made my own alcohol.
Vinegar. No, I don't know. I don't like that. Okay, well, listen. I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm not orange vinegar. I'm not here to stop you. I mean, it's only 0.3%, so it's not like it's going to do any serious damage. Why don't you, I mean, at your own pace. I'm very curious to know what this tastes like.
Oh God, it's awful. It's like spicy orange juice. Oh God, it's awful.
I'm not surprised.
Oh my God.
This man is dying. Oh God. We are exactly 10 minutes into the show, and a man has already ingested an unsafe amount of vinegar.
God.
Oh my God. All right.
I don't think it's unsafe. It's just spicy.
It's spicy. All right, listen. This angry water is gonna do you no good. So what I'm gonna say, for your own safety, my boy, what I want you to do is I want you to put the orange vinegar down, and I want you to find some regular orange juice or some other kind of normal beverage you would normally drink.
Don't worry, I have another glass here that is orange juice.
Thank God! I was really worried that you were going to be sipping on vinegar this whole time. That would have made me so sad.
What? How could that make you sad?
Because you'd be having a terrible time, and I don't want you to have a terrible time.
All right. That's fair. Thank you for thinking about me.
Okay. All right. So, I guess this is actually the very first episode of Under the Table where one of our guests is not drinking, which, by the way, is completely fine. You know, there's no obligation for anyone to drink when they come. Soft drinks are served in this bar for a reason. And so I think where normally we would start with some drinking games, I think now I kind of just want to get into the meat. I want to pick your brain a little bit. So what I want to do is I'm going to ask you, I'm just going to run off the top of my head, and I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you're more than welcome to answer them in any way that you see fit. Okay, so I want to ask. What exactly? Where do these ideas come from? Do you have like a notebook with bits in it? Do you have like? Is it like a muse? Like God himself strikes you with the inspiration to say these things? Tell me. Not what are you cooking? How? Where? What are the utensils? How do you come up with these strange things that you like to say?
I think the first thing I'd like to say is that I think it's really hilarious that you use like 3 different question words. It went from like what to how to where to why.
That's right. No, that's absolutely right. I am always confused.
I mean, I think that's one of the most amazing parts too. Like sometimes I'll just like think of something and I'm like, okay, and this is gonna make a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are gonna understand the joke. And then I post it and like nobody understands it. And I was like, I don't understand how nobody understands this. This is like really subtle DOPPIO humor. I didn't even crank it up to 11 yet. And when I crank it down to like 2 out of, I upgraded from like level 1 to level 2. People are like, is he speaking in riddles?
I don't know. I think like, and I'm guilty of this too. I think that when it comes to your sense of humor, it's so far beyond what I would imagine someone the kind of listen. There's like a culture of jokes being made in NIJISANJI for certain. Like, you know, it sort of became tradition to just sort of make jokes about like tops and bottoms and a load of like sussy garbage like that as soon as you join, you know. But to then, I'm always reminded, and I think probably the most perfect example of how different your sense of humor is and why it confuses us so much was when Hex made his tweet and he said, "I'm in love with you, parasocial," and you said, "I'm haunted by ghosts, paranormal." I thought that was just the most brilliant shit I had ever read in my life. I think I read that when I was on the plane back from Japan, and I just sat there next to Mr. I was just cackling to myself. I thought that was so funny because, I don't know, every opportunity that you might have to make a joke that someone would normally make, you just go for something a little bit silly, and I don't know. I think people are taking note because they're just, maybe they get it, but they're just not ready for it. That said, the whole Max Simon the Uber Drive joke, I completely went over my head the first time I read that. I was like, what? I didn't understand. I had to read it like 3 times to be like, oh, but still, it was just, I don't know. It was weird and it was different, but I knew I liked it for some reason. It was just, I don't know. There's a strange sort of pull to it, I guess.
I mean, I think the cool thing about it is that a lot of the times when when people actually get it and then they laugh at it and they're like, "Yo, that's actually really funny." It makes me feel really really accomplished as somebody who likes to think about jokes and stuff in a certain way. Growing up, I like to watch comedians like Dimitri Martin.
Yeah.
So what Dimitri Martin is famous for is that he has these like really out there, almost sarcastic, but they like tickle your brain kind of humor. Kind of the way that's kind of like, oh, this is a pie chart, and it's literally just a pie. So it's almost like so literal in the sense they're like, so at the base level of funny, it's funny, and it's like almost absurd at how simple it is. And I think that's perfect because absurd and simple, that's exactly how my brain works. So if you turn off your brain and just like leave it in neutral, I think that's like when I'm the most funny. But going back to the question, which was, how do you get your inspiration? Where do you get your inspiration? I guess it just comes randomly, or like it just comes out of nowhere. Act of God, or who knows? It just comes. Like this is a bit of a spoiler, but there was like I was like at an office, right? Because I was like getting some documents for the institute done, and the window at one of the offices, I think it was like the Bursars or whatever, and the window of one of the offices, it's I would say like the way you open it is that you kind of push it, and then it swings upwards, like it swings vertically, and so it creates an angle, and reflected in the angle of the window, you can see like highway traffic. And the way that it reflected it was like the trucks and the cars looked like they were going straight up into the sky. So I was like, yo, what if I write a story? Or what if I write some kind of joke that's all about trucks going straight up into the sky? So it's like really weird, but sometimes weird, absurd things really make stories just pop out and be so out there that it's like, yo, I don't know what flavor of food this is, but it's exotic, it's weird, I like it, and that makes me happy.
I like that a lot. I especially like that you get inspiration from comedians, because truthfully, you know, like stand-up comedians are, you know, some of the smartest people on earth, and learning how to tell jokes from them is like kind of, you know, whistle-stop tour #1 on where you should begin. I'm curious, have you ever heard of a comedian called Eddie Izzard?
No, It sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
He's a British man, and I think his humor is exactly up your alley. So let me describe one of his most famous bits. So he's talking about how he's got this really great posh voice. He's like, "What is a cat doing when it's sat purring behind your sofa?" And it's like, you think a cat is down there and it's purring to itself, when you think, "Oh, the lovely cat," and then you look behind, and what you would see is the cat has a little hard hat on and he's drilling. He's drilling a hole and he's trying to escape. And he's down there and he's trying to drill a hole. And the instant you look around like, "Cat, what are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, I'm only purring." And it's just this whole bit that's like a parody of The Great Escape, and it keeps going on like that. And there's this another bit where he's talking about like getting a plane, and he mentions like, "Oh yeah, so I was going to go on a flight from here to there, and we were escorted away from a 747 towards a Volkswagen Beetle with wings, and on there was a pilot, and his co-pilot was a flask of coffee, and I thought, hang on a minute, aren't co-pilots supposed to be there in case the main pilot says, 'Oh, for fuck's sake'?" And there's just so many ridiculous fucking scenarios that I think, I don't know, you need to check out like his comedy specials, because I think they would really connect with you. It's the exact same kind of just really silly humor that comes from whatever place. Like he probably saw a cat purring behind a chair and thought, I can make this work, you know.
He probably, I think that sounds really interesting, because I think that a lot of the most funniest humors come from like observing everyday life and being like, why? But like, why? And then it's really absurd. One of my favorite comedians, his name is Mitch Hedberg. And there's this one joke that I always carry for some reason. Like I don't even think that it's really the most impressive thing ever, but I think it really shines through sometimes when looking through the lens of everyday life. He says, "An escalator can never break; it can only become stairs." You should never see an escalator temporary out of order sign. It's just escalator temporary becomes stairs. Sorry for the convenience.
That's true. It's like when a door closes, does it then just become a wall? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's true. Also, people in chat are pointing out that Eddie Izzard actually goes by she/her pronouns now. I actually didn't know that, so thank you guys for filling me in. But yeah, you know, it's really interesting, like how I guess all comedy is sort of derived from finding a place where, because I don't know. I mean, the lived experience is being dropped into the world and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You know, it's like you're surrounded by things that if you were an alien coming down to this planet, you would be very, very confused by it. You know, culture shock almost. And so I guess a lot of comedy, especially your kind of comedy, I guess, is almost drawing attention to that in a way that celebrates its absurdity. You know, like the whole Max Simon Uber drive type of thing. I would say it almost comes from like the typical thing of people having weird Uber driver experiences. You know, like or like DoorDash orders. Have you seen those screenshots of people who get texts from their DoorDash drivers where it's like,
yeah.
Where it's like, this is a conversation related to your DoorDash order. It's just a picture of a half-eaten piece of chicken. It says, "I take a bite, lol."
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think part of it is that like we need to always remember that people are all so weird. I don't think that there's any normal person out there. I think we're literally just all so weird and all so absurd. But sometimes we forget to celebrate that. And but it's true. It's true. When you think about yourself, I always think that there's always some sort of weirdness about anybody. Like you who's watching at home might not think that you're weird, but there's probably something that's like so weird about you that you might be embarrassed about it, but it's kind of something special too. I don't know.
That's so true. I want to see a meme of you like with the big photorealistic pointing hand saying you're weird, but in like a but with like a smile. It's like, yeah, you are weird, and that's good. And I couldn't agree more, because I don't know. I think that I mean, I guess it would sort of like rely on like I'm not really sure why this is. It's probably something to do with like education or, you know, upbringing, but a lot of the time the unique parts of a person's personality tend to get repressed, and we can sort of feel embarrassed about what makes us unique. And if anything, I'd say that's why people are finding you so refreshing. It's because the unique and very bizarre sense of humor that you have is shining so brightly, and whenever anyone says, bro is on to nothing, who let him cook, it's still, you still keep it going because that's just who you are. And I think there's something really refreshing about that because, I don't know, especially when you're being exposed in NIJISANJI, you know, when you're exposed to such a massive audience, being exposed to that and being exposed to so many people who can draw attention to and make fun of you for the strange things that you are and the weirdness in you that makes you special, it can be so easy to sort of let that shape you and form you into something that you're not. I mean, you know, it's happened to me, it's happened to plenty of other people, that staying true to yourself in the face of massive criticism online can be really difficult, and I think it's inspiring that you've managed to kind of continue to be really, really weird and difficult to understand in spite of all of that, you know.
Oh man, you know, hearing all that makes me really happy. For real, calling me special, calling me brilliant, it's honestly one of the most wonderful feelings that I've ever had in my entire life. So joining Exolate, joining NIJISANJI, joining the whole institute and stuff, going into it, I remember I was taking a shower once, and I think it was like the day that I got one of those like acceptance letters.
Oh yeah.
And I was taking a shower, and I thought to myself, so DOPPIO, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna like handle this? And I thought to myself, hey, and this is my one shot to just really be who I want to be. And so what I want to be is just unabashedly, outrageously myself, and I'm weird. And I don't want to be, I never want to be embarrassed about being weird. I never want to be embarrassed about being the kind of person that I want to be. So it's awesome. Like I swear, it's probably one of the most awesome feelings in the world to know that there are audiences out there, and not only just audiences, but like a family who's like really close by, who accepts me for the kind of person I am. So honestly, I always thank my lucky stars every day that I've got senpais like Vox Senpai, I've got like fans who are cheering for me and being like, yo, I like Pio-chan the way he is, and that's honestly one of the best things ever. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, for reals.
That's so cool. That's so cool, the way that you thought that when you were getting into this, and the fact that you've like stuck to it. Because I don't know, my experience was that I had a certain idea of the kind of person I wanted to be when I got into this, and then I feel as though I sort of adapted to what was expected of me almost. You know, when I first debuted, I was like, I'm just gonna stay up late and play video games all night, and then suddenly I started making ASMR and doing all of this stuff. And it's not that I'm not appreciative for all of the attention, but also it's like, it does make me wonder how different things would have been if I had had your attitude, and if I had had like the, I'm just gonna do me. I guess I did have a phase like that where I started tweeting pictures of me taking a shit. Like that was definitely kind of a...
I remember that. I remember that. It was really funny because that was really close to around the time where I got where I got like really into the idea of wanting to get into you know, NIJISANJI and stuff. I was like, yo, I'm gonna do some research onto like these guys who really made it. And I go onto Vox Senpai's Twitter, he's like taking a shit. I'm like,
dropping the kids off at the pool. Oh god. That's the thing about it, is that like, I imagine you'll experience this as well, because if you are true to yourself, no amount of success or whatever is ever going to change the kind of person that you are. And the person I've always been is that I'm very easily amused by very silly and disgusting things. It's why I can never help playing something from my soundboard. Like if I just have a single moment, like a lapse in conversation where everything gets quiet, I just go, you know, and I that is always funny to me. That's always funny. And I think I just went through a phase where I was like, you know, it's like I was thinking about it from an outsider's perspective, and I was like, how funny would it be if I was not Vox Akuma, but if I was in the VTuber community and I knew who Vox Akuma was, I was like, wow, you know, NIJISANJI EN, huge, super big VTuber and all that kind of stuff. And then I see this man with like a Twitter account with more than 1 million followers post a picture of himself taking a shit, just like this given to him by a company. I just thought that was really funny, and so I was like, and I just kind of did it. I don't know. I thought it was great. So I'm glad that I managed to inadvertently inspire you to join NIJISANJI by taking a picture of my feet while I was dropping the kids off at the pool. That's really inspiring.
Yeah. So you know, for everybody watching at home, every time you use the bathroom, you're inspiring somebody somewhere else.
That's exactly right. Whether you share it with them or not, whether you share it with someone or not, taking a shit is inspirational, and you should remember that. Slack!
Exactly.
My Slack just went off. Shut the fuck up. I'm not ready for this. Pause notifications. Get out of my face. Pause notifications until tomorrow. I am drinking with my friend. Okay.
Hell yeah. I'm taking a sip to that.
I'm taking a sip of that juice. Take a sip of that OJ.
Yeah. And it's a good thing too, because like I have like 2 glasses here, and so I separate them with like a straw. So like whatever like my straw is in, that's the one I was drinking. But I eyed the one with vinegar because there's like more juice inside of it, so I almost took a swig of that. If I hadn't had the straw, I would have taken some vinegar and probably spit it out all on my screen.
I'm just gonna say, take the vinegar one and just put it somewhere else. Just put it somewhere away from where you are, and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna leave that behind. All right, just leave that behind and go back to whatever it is you're doing, because I don't know.
It's not that awful. Like I've taken a sip of like hard lemonade before, and it's pretty much the same. It's not that bad.
Oh no, he's not learning. It's like me and Pilk, although Pilk is actually really tasty. Have you ever tried Pilk before?
No, it's not.
Have you ever tried
can't lie
Pilk?
to me. No, I've not. I've never, but Pepsi's awful.
Okay. If you don't like Pepsi, then that's one thing. But I mean, listen, I enjoy Pepsi less than Coke, but then when I mix it with milk, it just becomes something entirely unique. All I'm gonna say is you should try it, because it's like the whole thing with Pilk is that you look at it and you're like, especially the name Pilk is so gross, but then you look at it and it's like, and then you try it and you're like, and it's like surprisingly nice. I had it at the airport when I was chilling in like the ANA lounge to go home with Mister, and Shu was there as well. There was a Pepsi dispenser machine, and there was also a big jug of milk in the thing, in like a fridge for tea, I imagine. And so I was like, and I just sat there with those 2 boys in my pajamas in this very fancy airport lounge, just sipping on Pilk while they looked at me with disapproval. It's tasty. It's good. I don't know how else to describe it.
Did you get them to try it?
Shu's already tried it. He's tried more Pilk than I have. Like, he's tried all sorts of different combinations, like soy silk, sparkling wilk. Apparently, soy silk tastes like clam chowder, and that hurts me physically. Sparkling wilk, he said, was the worst. G-Filk is good because you're supposed to mix G-Fuel with milk. I can't remember. Let me Google this.
Yo, these naming conventions are probably the best thing.
Shu Yamino Pilk tier list. Let me Google this. What was his final tier list? I want to see. Oh, I can't find like an image of it. But there was just a lot of different mixtures. Dr. Pilk.
Dr. Pilk.
Dr. Pilk. This motherfucker. He called it Tilk. It's just milk tea. It's just milk tea. I'm like, that's a real thing. That's not some weird combination. He's like, wait, that's just milk tea. You bastard.
He thinks he's a genius. He's like, I think I just made the next big thing. I could open up a franchise and everything.
Everybody come get some Tilk. It's like, no one's gonna get Tilk. It's just milk tea. It's fine.
It's like, yo, if I add tapioca to this, I'll be a genius.
Shuyamino. You guys remember how Luxiem are from the past? Shuyamino invented boba, okay? Shuyamino invented boba in the past, and now it's a massive franchise, and he is getting... It's a massive thing, not a franchise. It's like a massive recipe that everyone loves. Every single boba purchase should give Shuyamino a direct royalty, but he is not taking it because he's a good man.
You know, releasing something into society to, you know, for the betterment of humanity. That's something that I bet Shu Senpai is always down for.
Certainly. I kind of wanted to ask a question. So we were talking earlier about how you joined NIJISANJI, and you know, you were in the shower and you had like this big inspiration. I just want to be me, and I love that. And what I wanted to ask was, what kind of thing, because so far from what I've seen of you, your content is mostly just like, you like playing these relatively obscure games that you really, really like to play. I have never heard of like 90% of the games you play on your channel, but whenever you do play them, they're awesome. They're so funny, right? So what exactly is your vision for the kind of thing that you want to do? Is it just, if I want to play a game on a given day, I'll play it, or is there something more to it than that?
Yeah, basically just simply, hey, this game looks kind of cool. I've never seen anybody play this game before. I want to play it. I like that.
I like that. It's like yeah.
I think that a lot of people go into streaming thinking that they're just gonna be streaming like the most well-known games out there, and that's cool. Honestly, if you enjoy playing like if you enjoy playing popular games, if you enjoy playing like games that you've seen before, that's cool. That's honestly really cool. But I also like playing those kinds of games too. But I think that something really special is finding like these hidden gems of games and stuff, and just like bringing them out to the world and just like sharing them. Because I think that games are something that's meant to be shared with people. Like I remember growing up, and this was before this was like before like you could just like easily digitally like download games, right? And we would all get like our Nintendo 64 cartridges, or we would get our like PlayStation 2 discs and stuff, and we would just like trade them, right? Like sometimes we would get like these like really awful trades, like I don't know, like trading Smash Bros for Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball or something.
No.
Right? Or Diddy Kong Racing for I don't know, like a Mario Party 3.
Yeah. Oh god, you trade your original copy. You trade your original copy of Rayman for the PS2, and you get like fucking Gex. No, yeah, don't you speak Gex badly against Gex like that. Gex is my man. Gex is my man. It's just like a luau at Mel Blanc's house.
You just like the idea of Gex. You don't actually like the gameplay.
I've never played Gex, but I like the fact that he exists. Oh yeah, it's tail time. I don't know. He's just a funny lizard man, and he's like, and he's like, this is like penis hour at George Clooney's or whatever the fuck he says.
This is like drinking pilk at Vox Senpai's house.
Exactly. For note to self: don't drink pilk at Vox Akuma's house. Are you gonna play? You should play Gex on stream now. You should play Gex.
Okay, if we get the rights to play Gex,
we get the right, we'll have to ask Staff. Staff, can we play Gex? I don't even know what company made Gex, but we'll have to see. I think that would be a pretty good stream, just out of nowhere. Like, oh, they're playing Gex today. Huh? I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny when you think about it like that, right? Because Gex is one of those like really absurd, ridiculous games that I bet that even you probably don't see that Gex is gonna be like the most fun game out there. But it'll be like a fun time, right? Like it's probably not gonna be like the most wonderful gameplay ever, but it'll be like a fun time. Bad games can be really fun too.
Oh, they can. I mean, you've got like, I don't know. There's. I mean, I guess the thing about a bad game is that it needs to sort of be. It's like a bad movie, right? It needs to be at least funny bad. Like it needs to be so hilariously bad to the point where it like really shocks you into fits of laughter. Like a really bad example, it's like, for me, I want to see a movie if it's a 0 out of 10 or if it's a 10. I don't want to be wasting my time with a 5 out of 10. Like a film that is just bog standard, simple, boring, like thing happens. It's not hilarious. It's not fantastic or groundbreaking. It's just peh. Like Morbius, right? Morbius is a movie that I genuinely, it's terrible, but I really enjoyed watching Morbius because it's so hilariously over the top terrible that I was just laughing my ass off the entire time. And Matt Smith was really funny in that as well. So you've got to find it's like, I don't know, what was that one game? Big Rigs Over the Road Racing.
Big Rigs.
Big Rigs.
Exactly, yeah, Big Rigs, where you can just go backwards and just go through time and space because of how fast you can go.
But first, we need to talk about parallel universes, and you just with no speed cap on reversing. That is so funny that exists. Oh my god.
It kind of reminds me, like when you're talking about 0 out of 10 games that are 0 out of 10 movies, kind of reminded me of this one video that JonTron did a whole long time ago with Birdemic.
Oh, Birdemic! Oh,
yep,
that's a chestnut. I love Birdemic.
That's a chestnut.
What's great about Birdemic is that it doesn't even seem like it's intentionally bad. It just seems like the director is just completely clueless. Like he went out into the world marketing this film. He genuinely thought he was making a good movie. Like they interviewed him and they were like, "So what do you think about?" They've seen the film. They know what it's like, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And they're like, "So what do you think of Birdemic?" And he's like, I think I've created something shocking, and that's why it's called Birdemic: Shock and Terror. I've created something shocking and terrifying. And the lady interviewing him is like,
20 minutes of
yeah,
crap.
okay.
Gosh, but I don't know. I feel like that there's two kinds of really bad movies, right? They're the really bad movies that are unintentional, which are just hilarious.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like there are these bad movies that are coming out that feel like they're sort of intentional. Have you seen the new Megan, the Megan movie?
Mithrigan, yes, I have.
Yeah, Mithrigan.
I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people saying that it's quite dull and boring, and I've heard other people saying that it's genuinely a good film. Because I think everyone wanted, all the opinions, everyone wanted Mithrigan to be really funny bad because the trailer looked so funny. You had her running around killing people, and then she does that weird TikTok dance. Yeah, right. But then people said it turned out to be less horror and more about feelings and shit. And I was like, huh? It just, I don't know. It also reminds me, speaking of intentionally bad, it reminds me of if you heard about The Amazing Bulk, the rip-off Hulk movie with the big purple guy.
No, I have not seen that one.
Oh my god! Okay, I have to send you something. Hold on. This is oh my god. So you guys on YouTube. Wait. You guys on YouTube will know this as being, what's it called? The greatest Amazing Bulk chase sequence. You can
Amazing Bulk chase. What?
This is it. We are almost at the end of the movie, and we haven't used all of our stock footage yet. So The Amazing Bulk is a movie shot entirely on a green screen, and they have a ton of stock footage, and at the end, they do this chase sequence, and they just try and use all the stock footage at once. And the thing about this film is that it's almost it almost takes away from the humor, because you can tell that they're trying to make it intentionally terrible, and so it feels a little bit cynical. But then you get to this point, and it's so insane and ridiculous that you just can't. Also, the way the Amazing Bulk runs with his little with his arms tucked in, his elbows tucked into his waist, he's got such a baby girl run. I love him. And then you see Robin Hood on the castle walls and this random little kangaroo there. And it's oh my god, I can't believe that's a real thing that was made.
They green screened the fire over the box.
They did.
Why is he running like that? He's going so fast now.
Look at him! Look at him! God. He's not even taking an accurate number of steps. He's just sliding over the ground.
He's why is he so chill walking through the park now? He was going like 1 billion miles per hour. Now he's
And then he's
chill
just
at the
like,
park.
oh god, I've just got to slow down.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this definitely looks like one of those movies that I definitely just like watch. If I ever feel down, I usually like watch movies like this just because they're so like ridiculously funny.
Yeah.
So was this like intentionally supposed to be bad?
I
or
think
was
it's like they were trying to make some money and they started making it, and then in the end they just kind of gave up and were like, okay, this movie is gonna be really good because this movie's gonna be successful because we're gonna make it bad, and they'll talk about it like it's The Room. But what made The Room great, what made The Room so successful, was the fact that Tommy Wiseau genuinely believed that he was making an incredibly good film. And his utter incompetence just made watching it a complete treat. Do you want to know what the best bad movie of all time is, though?
hit me.
Who Killed Captain Alex?
Oh.
Because
is it bad?
Well, it's not bad. That's the thing.
Though.
That's the thing. It's hard to call it bad because it's so genuine. Like, they went out there with so much passion and so much energy, and they tried to make Who Killed Captain Alex? What's that? The one line that always dinosaurs. Like, there's just so much shit in that movie that kills me. But you can tell that these guys went out there and they tried really hard to make a film, and they went out there with so much passion. And so watching it, it's like, even though, yeah, if you compare it to any other film with an actual budget, like, yeah, it's not very well made, but you can tell everyone involved is having so much fun that it just doesn't matter. It's like, it's really heartwarming, I think, to watch because it comes from such a genuine place. That is behind the scenes on that film, actually, the computer used to edit it was literally assembled from like scrap. Like, the director built his computer out of like random parts that he found and used it to make that film. Like, that's a real entrepreneurial filmmaker's spirit. That's inspiring, you know. I'd like to see any filmmaker in you know, a first world country like with that much determination, because I don't think they exist, you know.
Honestly, the most important thing about any movie is not the graphics, it's not the acting, it's not the script. It's as long as it's the most as long as it's entertaining to somebody, as long as it's entertaining, it's good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that line of thinking a lot, because it's not as though everything has to conform to the same sort of rigid like rubric by which everything gets judged. It's like, yeah, if it makes someone laugh, if it makes someone happy, then it fulfilled its purpose, and that's important. You know, I like that. I like that a lot. I tend to be very I tend to side more with like what critics say and stuff, because I think it just lines up with my taste in film a lot. But I do I have a lot of guilty pleasure movies that I keep coming back to. You know what? That's a good question. What is your biggest guilty pleasure movie or anime or game or whatever it is? Like something you know is bad but that you just love.
Guilty pleasure anime or game.
Or film, whichever.
Or film. Let's see. So there's this one anime that I always watch. It's called Space Dandy. I wouldn't say Space Dandy is bad, but I feel like Space Dandy is one of these animes that most people would never like say is like their top 10 animes ever. It's made by the same people who did Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, really?
But yeah. It's the same director. It's the same director as Cowboy Bebop and the same director as Carol and Tuesday. And it's kind of funny because they all share like one like timeline universe thingy. But Space Dandy, what makes it really special is that you can watch any single episode and it'll tell its own completely different story. And sometimes they'll even like give it. Sometimes they'll even give like that certain episode to like a completely different animation team or animation studio, and it comes out to be something that's so like, I guess this really just shows my taste and stuff, but it gets so weird. Like in one episode, they are facing a zombie apocalypse, and a zombie apocalypse wins, and everybody becomes a zombie like throughout the entire universe.
Oh my
and
God.
then the next episode, now they're just like fishing as if nothing happened. and then the episode after that, now they're like doing like this really huge I forgot, I think it was like Wacky Races. They're doing like this whole big race tournament where they go up against like this really snobby prince of racing guy.
Right.
And it's just so wacky and weird that I just absolutely like fell in love with the way that Space Dandy tells its stories. But for a guilty pleasure game, I'm trying to think of like a really bad game. I don't play bad games. That's a thing.
Yeah,
man,
you've got such impeccable taste. God, what's a bad game that I enjoy playing? Oh, Security Breach. That's my favorite guilty pleasure game. Like the newest FNAF game. It's not a good game. Like in terms of game design and structure and level design and everything, it's pretty bad. Like it's really not very well made. I'll give you an example of like a good section from this game where I looked at it and I was like, how the fuck did this was this an idea they had? So there's a point where you're running from one of the animatronics and you need to walk up to a certain doorway to trigger a cutscene that will allow you to progress the game, right? There's no like marker on your map telling you where to go. You just get kind of shoved into this corridor that doesn't have like an exit, right? Throughout the whole game, there are these doors but if it has a velvet rope across it, you can't go in. Like that's the game's way of saying there's nothing through here, just keep moving. And at the back of it, there's another one of these doors. And obviously, because it's told you can't go through these, I was like, no. And I just ran past. And I was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I was like, where do I go? You have to walk up to that door trying to go in for the game to progress. It's like, like exactly it. That's the game design itself is so like, are you lost? Like, and the animatronic keeps like taunting you while you can't figure out where to go. It's so weird to the point where finding speedrun skips is probably easier than actually doing the game the way you wanted to do it. That said, I do like it because it's funny. It has the big Freddy man who's like, way to go, superstar. And it has, like, the graphics are nice, the music is good, and it's FNAF. And I don't know, I just get this like warm feeling come over me when I play it. And even though I know it's not good, I'm like, FNAF, Freddy, you know. And then that's all that matters to me, you know.
I mean, I think whenever I think about Security Breach, I always think about the different challenges, the different challenges and the different speedruns that people do. I was watching this one YouTuber who had this like really unique challenge where he had to try to clear the entire game without seeing one single glitch.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah, I started watching that. I didn't finish it though.
Yeah, and it takes like a whole lot of like knowing every single part of the game to realize what is a glitch, what's not a glitch, and like where you have to like look only at your feet so that you don't look at any glitches because the game's just so full of glitches. But I think that just goes to show how beloved FNAF is to the FNAF community, because they'll take like really awful games like we all know that Security Breach is pretty bad. Oh yeah. But people are able to take a bad game, change up the rules and stuff, and make it really cool. And make it really special. I think Security Breach is definitely one of a kind.
It's very unique, and I like it when a game has so much creativity that no matter how bad it is, that creativity kind of shines through, and it becomes like its own thing, and people can appreciate it for what it is. Like, there's no game like Security Breach. Like, even if there's one. Oh yeah?
Yeah, Super Smash Brothers Melee.
That is true. Exactly right. That game is broken as shit, and that's why the competitive scene is so alive today. Because if that game was designed... Smash Brothers Brawl is what Melee would have been if it had less bugs, you know? Brawl is like, you know, the non-competitive sort of casualized version of Melee. Melee is great because of all of the random tech that came out of the game having such a rushed development, like wave dashing and like Have you ever seen the channel Awesome Sauce? Like this guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how are we the same? But I love his. That's like he's like my like one of my main comfort YouTubers outside of like Summoning Salt or all of that.
I love Summoning Salt.
Let's go! I love Summoning Salt.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do like a little watch part next time. Summoning Salt, like drop something. Yo, it's crazy because I was on Summoning Salt's Twitter, right? And I was like, oh, nobody else follows him that I know. What the fuck?
Right? I don't think I follow him actually.
You don't. It would say that it would say that if you it would say that.
Yeah, no, it would. I actually don't follow him. I'm gonna follow him right now. I don't know. There's something so nice and nostalgic about watching a video about. I feel like Summoning Salt is the most prime comfort content because every single Summoning Salt video has the same like narrative structure. It's always like it's just there was a time when this man did this speedrun using these tricks and it was very good and he was the world record holder. He would hold this record for the foreseeable future. Until Scrimbly Bumfuck 579 came in with the fucking Scrimbly Bimbly run and managed to completely destroy his time. And I'm like, oh, let's go Scrimbly Bimbly fuck! And I just get so excited about whichever. I remember watching the Mario 64 one, and he's like, and now a new challenger would emerge, and it's like the guy is called Sex 12 or whatever the fuck it is, or whatever. It's some stupid name.
Slippery Nip.
That's him, Slippery Nip.
Yeah.
He comes in and he gets the world record, and they talk about him in this serious documentary context. It's so funny.
Yeah, I have this like playlist of a bunch of different Summoning Salt videos that I use to go to sleep. And it always works. I swear it always works.
You know what my #1 sleep YouTuber is? It's Vsauce. I love Vsauce people. Yeah, Vsauce. I just love his voice and like the cadence he says stuff and the music as well. It sounds like the kind of thing that would be on like I used to listen to this old radio channel back when I literally had a wireless radio. Like it was that long ago. And I had one, and I listened to this radio channel called Chill FM, and it had this weird sort of like trancey, like poppy music that was very like, and I used to like fall asleep to that all the time. And Vsauce's music kind of sounds like that, and so it's that music with a guy being like, if I was to cut a cake exactly in half and place it on top of itself, one cake could be infinitely tall and have an infinite surface area. And I'm like, yeah, no, it definitely could. Like that's.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, I like to listen to Vine Sausage Joel, and he goes, spin. Like, yo,
I haven't really watched much. Oh god, is it Vinny or Joel who does like the breaking his computer thing where he gets like the virtual machine and starts downloading a load of viruses?
I'm pretty sure it's Vinny.
It's Vinny. Oh no, I love watching those videos where he downloads like 17 instances of Bonzi Buddy and just watches everything blow up.
Oh wait, no, I confused. No, it's backwards. Joel is the break the computer and Vinny's
right, that is Joel. Okay, I always get them mixed up. Okay, I always get them mixed up.
That's okay. We got a few drinks in, so it's okay.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was getting confused. Oh god. Okay, now there's now that's an interesting question. So I'll tell you mine, and then I'll ask my favorite obscure niche YouTuber is this guy that I found ages ago, and his name is DanoOct1, and he is a virus specialist. Like, he's a computer scientist, and all of his content is this guy with a very soft, very pleasing voice, and when he says, "Hey everybody, this is DanoOct1 here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the penis virus," and he just like loads up, he has like a virtual machine, and like you can hear I think sometimes he'll use a real computer and it has like a very old-timey mechanical keyboard and it's got like like this sort of really old computer computer setup, like one of those big beige box computers and all of that, and he's like, so here we're going to see what this is, and he's so knowledgeable about how viruses work and what they try to do. It's like, so, and he calls them like payloads. He's like, so the first payload is going to start turning our file, is going to start encrypting our files, and it's going to start doing this. And I love listening to someone with a really strong knowledge about a very niche piece of information talk about that piece of information and really tell me what it all means, because I don't know anything about computer programming, but that guy does, and I listen to him talk about viruses and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. There's one called the "You Are an Idiot" virus, and it just completely locks up and destroys your computer with this window that starts singing at you, telling you how stupid you are. And he's like, yeah, so this is a very fun virus, and he just kind of moves on. It's like, so that's all for that. There's the memes virus. There's the memes virus that like starts taking screenshots of your desktop and then showing it to the desktop itself, so it just creates a tunnel effect, and then your computer like won't start up after that. I love that shit. It's so fun that someone would take the time to make a virus that doesn't benefit them at all. It just fucks someone else who installs it and runs it. I don't know.
Well, you know, like the whole theme of tonight's been, people are weird and they have like really weird sense of humor. That makes the world beautiful.
I will drink to that. So that's kind of what I wanted to ask you. What is your favorite, like, slightly obscure YouTuber that you found? Like, because everyone's found someone who doesn't get all that many views or subs or whatever, but you just think their content is so fun to watch.
Okay, so there's this YouTuber called Bobby Broccoli. So Bobby Broccoli, I would say, is really similar to Summoning Salt in the sense that he takes something and tells like a whole story about it, but things that he chooses to do are like academia science stuff. So like you know, I'm not that smart when it comes to school shit, but the thing is that I think that a lot of people don't think that school shit is like all that interesting, but for some reason the whole world actually revolves around school shit. And he tells these stories that are absolutely incredible, like about how there was this guy. There was like these teams of people who are all competing about how to create new elements for the periodic table.
I think I've just found that video, the man who tried to fake an element. Yeah.
So that's the video that made him blow up. But before he blew up, I was watching his stuff.
Oh, wow.
Like how, and before he blew up, I would watch his videos about, like these guys who would, how this one guy would fake, who would fake, all of these big sciencey papers about how he would like find new discoveries about science this and science that, transistors this, transistors that. New chemical properties, electrical properties of like different rocks and stuff, and how a whole lot of people respected that guy and made like huge papers that relied on his research. Turns out that he was like a whole fraud, and all of that effort and all the other like papers that came from his research were all just false and all just gone to waste.
Wow.
And he did it just so that he could keep his job. It's kind of crazy.
God.
But yeah, science is crazy. The politics of science and stuff can get kind of crazy. I don't know. But that's my guy, Bobby Broccoli.
Bobby Broccoli. That's a great name and such interesting content. I love learning stuff through YouTubers because you can tell it comes from someone with a genuine vested interest. You know, kind of in the same way that I love documentaries, because learning about stuff in that way is really interesting. Like It's amazing how a documentary like Blue Planet or Planet Earth, you know, it can have so much money behind it, but it feels genuine because you know David Attenborough genuinely loves every single part of nature and wants to show it to the entire world. I don't know, like there's something so nice about just this very, very old British man being like, and now we can see as this humongous scrimbly bimbler shark decides to devour my toes, and like it's just something you it's like, yeah, David, tell me about that big shark, tell me about that funny squid who does the thing, because there's so much about the world, like you said, like the politics of science, or you know, like nature or the oceans or whatever, that we don't understand, that you would never know about if someone didn't go to painstaking effort to show you about those things. And so that's, I don't know, it always, regardless of whether or not I retain much of the information I gain from a documentary or from an informative YouTube video, it's just nice to
feel the passion, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is so nice to feel the passion.
Yeah, like I feel like there are like millions and millions and millions of different paths of lives that we could have like traversed ever since we were born. Like there might be some kind of like alternate universe where me and Vox, instead of like streamers, maybe we're like, I don't know, like basketball players or scientists and stuff. And we probably could have done that in like an alternate universe. But the thing is that many different people do like follow their hearts into like all of these different paths, and I think it's just the most interesting thing to take a little bit of a glimpse of the lives of somebody who's completely different from my own. Because I'm like, yo, that's not something that I would do in my lifetime, but I'm so happy that it's something that you're passionate about and that you're sharing with me. I think that's really cool, for sure.
I
Like
completely agree, yeah.
Like I wasn't really into sports until a few years ago, right? But there's this one documentary about baseball, like the history of the Seattle Mariners. And the whole story was that the Seattle Mariners is like the only baseball team to have never ever gone to the finals in MLB. Like ever. Like one of the only teams to have never made it to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yo, so from the outside looking in, a regular person might just think that this team is one of the worst teams ever. They're like unlucky, they're unskilled. But they were saying the point, though, that we're telling the story is that the Seattle Mariners aren't the group of people who are like good or bad or like really good at sports, but what they do have are really interesting stories to tell. And they might just be the most interesting team in baseball history because of how uniquely fascinating and sometimes tragic roller coastery stories that they have. Like there was like a story about how there would be like how the team would prank each other with putting Jello in toilets, and how they would always find a way to cheat in baseball, and they would think that they wouldn't get caught. Like there was this one pitcher, I forgot his name, but he thought he would get away with it by putting I want to say like putting sharp spikes into the ball.
Right.
But
okay.
But the referee caught him, and he instead got nervous about getting caught. So he got all sweaty and he started to rub his face, but he still had like the spikes in his hand. So he almost tore off his eyeballs.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's a bunch of protagonists who live their lives in baseball, but they're all kind of funny and unique, and it's almost hilarious that a lot of these really funny people went to this really obscure baseball team. Like out of all the baseball teams in the MLB, the Mariners were like the most obscure. God. So it's really interesting.
I've never even thought about that, but like, I'm super not into sports, but I love people who are into sports. You know, when I watched, I'm not into football, But when I watched the World Cup, I could feel like the excitement. Like I watched the. Did you watch the World Cup final with Messi?
Yeah, I watched the final. Yeah,
Messi.
yeah.
Oh my god, that was so intense. I had never watched any other World Cup game in my entire life, but I decided, you know what? It's the World Cup final. I'm gonna watch it, and it was so exciting the whole time. Like you had Argentina 2 goals up, and then suddenly you had XQC betting $500,000 on France, and then he cashes out his bet.
Really?
He cashes out his bet for only $5,000, and then immediately after, Mbappe scores 2 goals, and it's like, and then it just becomes a whole thing, and in the end, it goes all the way down to penalties. I was really feeling it, and like, seeing the way France was playing and the way France kept like kicking people and like tripping them up, I was like not too fond of French people, and I was just like I was fully rooting for Argentina the entire time. I was like, come on, Argentina, vámonos, vámonos! And I was just like really going for it. And then when Messi won, I kept thinking about how cute Messi was, and I was like, God, look at that smile. Look at the smile on that man. I was so happy. When Argentina wound up winning, I don't know. I was really feeling it when I was watching the World Cup. I thought it was so nice, and I completely forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, sports. So it reminds me, there was this old TV show, like this SNL skit about the Chicago Bears that I keep hearing about, and that I keep loving the like these bits from, where it's these very, very rural Chicago boys, and they're talking about the Bears, which I think is baseball. The Bears, the Chicago Bears. Yeah, that's it. The Bears. Yeah. And there's this one bit that I can't stop thinking about, where it's one of them asking the other one, because obviously the Bears coach is Coach Ditka, and they're like, okay, he's like Shaggy. He's one of the most physically capable entities on the planet. He's like Goku. And they were like, all right, who would win in a fight? A hurricane or Coach Ditka? And they're like, Coach Ditka would beat the hurricane. Coach Ditka would beat the hurricane anytime. And he's like, I don't know, wait. The name of the hurricane is Hurricane Ditka. And one of them just starts actively having like a seizure. Like he just starts like hitting himself in the chest. He's like, oh. He just can't process the question at all. And I don't know. I get it, but I don't get into sports that much. But I love the spirit that comes out from people when like sports gets really exciting for them. I don't know. It's like we were talking about with YouTubers, like seeing someone really go off about their passion is just the easiest thing to listen to in the world. I just sit there with my head in my chin in my hands, and I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. Oh, that's cool, and then I just get really invested,
Yeah, completely. I think that it's really funny. I'm always bringing this up, but even sports is really weird.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes sports brings out the weirdness in people, and it's just the best. Absolutely one of the best things to listen to. Anybody who's passionate about anything, it's a joy to listen to. Absolutely.
Okay. We are about an hour into the show, and we have
already?
A number.
Dang.
Yeah, already. Can you believe that?
Dang.
Like we've just been going off. But I wanted to take this chance, now that we're about an hour in, to take a look at some fan-submitted questions. So this is just a reminder, everybody, if you do have a question for Doppio or I, please to post them on Twitter with hashtag UTTQNA. And so we're going to go into a couple of these now, because they're quite interesting. So this one comes from at Bookivi on Twitter. Malord, this is a question for me. Malord, you always talk about letting Doppio cook, but would you let Doppio actually cook for you? And we were having this conversation earlier, because I made my lunch. I had my workout today, and I made a big lunch. I had roast chicken with some sweet potato and some broccoli. And you asked me, do you cook? And I said, yeah. So I'm going to ask you that question. Doppio, do you cook? And what is your favorite thing to cook?
Yeah, I cook. I cook almost every day, unless I'm like really lazy. My favorite thing to cook. Okay, so I mentioned this before, but my favorite thing to cook is something I call Doppio nuggets. Why was that really funny? It's a serious thing.
I wasn't expecting Doppio nuggets. All right, what is a Doppio nugget? Tell me about them. Tell me about Doppio nuggets.
All right, so we're going to go step by step with making Doppio nuggets. So anybody who wants to make Doppio nuggets at home can make their own Doppio nuggets. So you get like these. So you go to the store, right, and you buy chicken breasts, right. So chicken breast is usually frozen in like a packet, right. And so when you go home with your chicken breast in hand, you thaw it out, and then you put it into you go use a cutting board, and you cut the chicken breast, and you get like these little chicken strips. And then afterwards, you season the chicken strips. I use vinegar, and then I use some other spices. Anybody can use whatever spices they like for their chicken.
Nice.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what spice they use. And then in another bowl, you get like 2 eggs, or sometimes you can use eggs and milk. Then you use like a fork to stir in that little egg mixture. And then you get like another bowl, and you put panko breadcrumbs, and then other breadcrumbs.
He's fancy.
Yeah, the panko is really good because they're like thicker breadcrumbs. They're like thicker breadcrumbs, and they give like a really nice crunch. So what you do is you take the chicken strip, you dip it into the egg mixture, and then you now it's all wet from the egg mixture. So then you dip it into the panko mixture, and then you kind of like pat it down until it's all like breaded, and then you just put it on a plate. Then later on, after you have like a whole like plate full of DOPPIO nuggets that are like cold, then you just get like a pot or like a pan full of oil, and then you just like deep fry it. And then a few minutes later, you have DOPPIO nuggets, and then you eat it with like, I don't know, you can eat it with like a salad. You can eat it with anything. It's basically like homemade chicken nuggets. And a lot of people might say, yo, chicken nuggets aren't that healthy. Chicken nuggets aren't good. But if you make that at home, the thing is, the trick is any bad food that you consider junk food, if you make it at home by yourself, it automatically becomes good.
Usually, yeah. I mean, obviously, deep frying something does tend to make it quite sort of, fatty or whatever it is. But home, like if chicken breast, if you get it at home, that's just unaltered, unprocessed chicken breast. That's just chicken, So if the prime ingredient is chicken, then yeah, that's gonna be pretty good for you. What kind of spices do you use? I'm curious.
Okay, so the thing is that my mom was like, okay, DOPPIO, these are the spices that we use, and I'm like, okay, got it. Thing is that they're not in English, so I don't really know the name.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't really know the name, but if I see it at the store, I just go like to like the Asian section, and I just pick out the spices just by looking at it, and then I'm like, okay, good to go.
I used to live really close to a nice Asian market. I used to live close to a Korean market specifically, and God, I used to love going there to get all of those unique ingredients and stuff. And they had sesame oil, and you could get spring onions there, or like negi for like 30 pence. That's like 50 cents for like a whole bunch of negi. And I used to go there all the time, and I wish that I'd experimented more. You know what my favorite ingredient I got from there is? MSG.
What is it?
MSG. Stick that shit in everything. It's like Uncle Roger says, MSG is like salt on crack. I just absolutely go crazy for MSG, and it really does make a massive fucking difference to everything. If you ever catch me making eggs without MSG, shoot me on the spot. Shoot me on the spot right now.
Okay, so some people are asking, how can I describe it? So an alternate way, if you want to have like any spice combination that's not just Asian spice, something that you can write down is like black pepper, garlic, thyme, oregano, paprika, onion, I don't know, something like that. Any spice that you like will help you out, I think. Any spice you like will help you out. Ginger, I don't know.
I tend to always go, I err on the side of making something as spicy as physically possible, because that's just what I love. I remember I had a very poor decision one night. I had some chicken, I had a chicken breast, and I knew I needed to I had a whole chicken breast, and I was like, I'm just gonna stick this thing in the oven, you know, to make it, because like oven cooked stuff, baked, tends to be better for you than if you fry it. So I figured I would just stick it in the oven, and I was like, how do I season this? The only seasoning I had available were chili flakes, and so I covered the entire thing in chili flakes. Literally the entire chicken, and I was like, I mean, maybe it'll be nice, maybe it'll work, and I just covered this whole thing of chicken in pure chili flakes. And to my credit, it did taste really good before the pain started. You know, I was like, wow, that's good. Oh, and then it just got really spicy. I want to tell you, I did finish it. You know, it was spicy, but not too spicy for me. You know, I could handle it in the end, even though it was an awful experience. But at the very least, I gave my chicken some flavor instead of just having a bland, plain piece of chicken.
That's actually not so bad, I guess. I'd rather have something spicy than something bland for sure. But you know, if anybody out there who's watching is interested in trying chicken breast covered in only chili flakes, make sure that you have some pilk.
Yeah, exactly. Pilk is gonna make that go down so much easier.
The milk will counteract the spicy. So yeah, and I'm not sure if the pea in the pilk will help counteract the spice. I've never really used Pepsi to counteract spice before, but milk
yeah, don't use Pepsi.
Counteracts spice.
Milk is good. Milk is good. God, that was a good question. I've got another one for you, actually, and this one was only submitted an hour ago by Amrai Draws on Twitter. Their question, and they've got some lovely fan art with this that kind of relates to the question. What was so for both of us, what was your reaction to seeing your first piece of fan art when you first debuted? So I'll pose that to you first. How did you feel when you saw the first piece of DOPPIO DROPSCYTHE fan art get uploaded?
I was absolutely so thrilled. I mean, I feel like fan art is one of the things that really makes you feel, or rather makes me feel special. I mean, I think that it takes artists a whole lot of time to just like make fan art. Like it takes hours, even sometimes days, and it's such an honorable feeling. Like I feel so honored whenever somebody does it, because it means that they were thinking of me for hours and hours and hours. And so what I did for the first few days, at least, was I saved all of them in a folder. And I told myself, okay, if I ever get the chance to, I'd go to like a printing shop and print them and like put them on my fridge or something. Haven't been able to yet because it turns out that there's like a whole lot of fan art.
He's gonna put them on his fridge. That's so cute.
But I think it's awesome. I mean, so one thing I like to do on my streams is that a lot of times when I say that I'm gonna play a game, there will be a bunch of people who say, "All right, DOPPIO, here's the thumbnail that I worked hard on to you know, for your stream." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." But then sometimes there'll be like 2 or 3 or even 4 thumbnails that people make. And now the hard part.
How do you choose, right?
Yeah, how do you choose? And so sometimes I pick what I think is going to be the most eye-catching. But what I do is that I make sure to save all of them, and in the beginning of stream, I'll show everyone who's in chat a picture of the thumbnails that each person made, and I credit them, so that at the very least, all the people who had worked on the thumbnails get a little bit of recognition, get a little bit of, "Hey, I saw your thumbnail. This is awesome. Thank you." I think that's awesome.
That is incredibly sweet, and I agree. I had that exact problem when I did a few months ago. I did Cult of the Lamb, and there were like 4 really good thumbnails that got uploaded for that, and I was like, holy shit, how do I choose? And they did an asset for it as well. I was like, what the fuck? People must like this game a lot. And as I played it, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I was really like enamored with it. I was like, wow. You know, I really, it's incredible to see someone give that much of their time, energy, and talent to something purely for you and for you to use for free. You know,
Exactly.
For my first reaction to getting fan art, before I joined NIJISANJI, I was definitely lurking in the VTuber community for quite a while, and I was aware of a lot of big names like in NIJISANJI, Hololive, and in the indie community as well. And then when Luxiem were revealed, I started seeing the fan art come rolling in, and I had never anticipated that it would be that fast. Like, I thought it would be every once in a while. I'd be like, wow, that's cool. It's like incredible fan art is made every day. Every day, incredible fan art is made. And I remember, who was it? One of the first people who did a really good piece of fan art that I was like, whoa, was in the indie community, someone called DROPPIO, who I knew about before I debuted, and who I was like, wow, this person
I know
does
what you're talking
exactly.
about.
This person does great artwork. I was like, damn, she seems really cool. And then the first, like, the instant I get revealed, it's like fan art from this person. I was like, oh wow, oh, this is a big deal. Oh shit! Like, I hadn't even thought about it before that point. I was like, oh wow, whoa, okay, thank you. And then other than that, there's like more fan art that I immediately set as like my phone wallpaper, and to this day I still have, like, because I have the Samsung Fold, it means that I have a phone wallpaper for the phone being open, and like locked. I have one for the phone being closed and locked, and then open, and then closed and open, or whatever it is, and like 4 different wallpapers, and all of them are different pieces of fan art, and I just keep changing them all the time. And I don't know. I remember I met up with some old uni buddies recently, and they were like, isn't it weird that you have like fan art of yourself as your wallpaper? And I was like, no, it's not. I like it, actually. And it was, I don't know, it was really, really nice. So it's definitely just such a unique feeling to have like a genuinely talented artist take their time and energy to invest in you and show you how much they appreciate you, and to know also that you managed to tackle their art block, and you managed to help them, you know, see some kind of muse and creativity. The amount of times I've seen fan artists who've done art of me say, yeah, I was in art block for a long time until I found this guy, and now I've been drawing fan art ever since. And I'm like, god damn, that's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And it really sounds like you're exactly like me in the sense that whenever we look at ourselves in our phones and see like our fan art as wallpaper, I always get a feeling of like pride in myself. Like, yeah, I have some awesome fan artists who do this for me, but it's also a reflection of me also being awesome. And I just feel proud about it too. You know what I mean?
It's a huge boost to your self-esteem to know that you did well enough that someone wanted to reward you by, you know, creating something for you. Like, that's not just, oh, here's some money. That's like, take, you know. And obviously we always appreciate super chats and stuff, but there's something so special about fan art and how it's like such a huge investment of a person's time to give a gift to someone they care about. I really, really like can't get enough of all of that. Anyway, I actually really need to pop
100%.
I need to pop to the bathroom, so I'm going to leave you alone with all the viewers. So feel free to take your time with that, and I will see you in a moment. Don't get intimidated, okay?
Okay. So it looks like Vox Senpai drank too much pilk or beer lagers or whatever. But hi, my name's DOPPIO Johnson, and I'm having the time of my life. Vox is a little bit away right now, but honestly, I have to be really thankful to him because I've always felt that in the Niji Wrestling collab and pretty much all times that I've been in NIJISANJI, I've always felt that Vox Senpai has been looking out for me, somebody who's always had my back. So, you know, Vox Senpai, when you're rewatching this VOD later, please know that I really do appreciate you, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm more comfortable, and I always feel so warm in this NIJISANJI family, and you're a huge reason for that. So, really, Thank you. Okay. Now, stop saying aw in chat. You have to stop saying aw and so sweet, or else he's gonna get suspicious. So, what I want to talk about is my favorite game of all time, Bug Fables. So please type Bug Fables in chat. Yeah, exactly, Bug Fables. Okay, so when he comes back, he's gonna think that I'm just, turning this whole stream into an advertisement about playing my favorite game of all time, Bug Fables, which I'm gonna play next week, actually. So in a few days, it's gonna be my birthday, and well, a few days later, I'm gonna be playing Bug Fables. Hell yeah, let's go, Bug Fables. Nah, I think that the questions that we've been able to answer so far today is something that I have always wanted to talk about as well. I think that something like this chat, like this environment, is so natural in showing different sides about myself, and I'm really honored that I'm able to share this moment with you guys. Bug Fables for my... Hey. I already have it. But maybe I should give Vox Senpai a copy of Bug Fables for allowing me on here. So kind. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think what I'll do is that I'll share my favorite game of all time with Vox Senpai now. He might not ever play it, but on the off chance that he does play it, I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna be rolling the dice to see if he'll actually play Bug Fables. So, how are you guys doing? Are you guys having a good time? Uma? What do you mean Uma? We're not playing Uma Fables, we're talking about Bug Fables. I think bug in Japanese is mushi. Mushi Fables. Dice. Yeah? You can fanboy about it later on? Heck yeah. Of course I will. You're having fun? I'm having tons of fun. I thought that I would come into this collab a little bit shy, but Vox is doing a great job making me feel welcome and making me feel happy, so I'm really happy. I'm in my element. I'm not even stuttering. DOPPIO DROPSCYTHE is dry. Hello, Vox Senpai. What's
Hello! Up? I'm doing a great job, am I? Good to hear.
Yeah, I didn't hear you flush, though, so maybe you can go back and make sure.
I had my mic muted. I promise you that I gave that a thorough flush, and I washed my hands, and my bathroom is as clean as a whistle.
Oh, that's awesome. Why do you think that they say clean as a whistle? Do you have a whistle?
I don't know. I don't own a whistle, actually. I guess I guess if you use a whistle regularly, you should keep it clean dirty. Because you're always if you use a whistle regularly, you should keep it clean because you're always putting it in your mouth. You know.
But the thing is about a whistle is that you're always blowing into it. And I don't think you can take whistles apart, so I feel like it's really hard to make whistles clean on the inside. I don't know. When I hear clean as a whistle, I don't really think whistles are that clean, honestly.
No, me neither. Like, they're always getting slurped on and with saliva, and you're like, and when you go like, you're just blowing a load of like spit and shit into it, like. Yeah, the average whistle probably is not all that clean, really.
Yeah, and if you wanted to, I don't know, use a whistle, like borrow somebody's whistle, I'm sure that it would be like really, in the back of your mind, you'd be thinking, oh, that's kind of yucky. I don't want to borrow somebody else's whistle. I'd rather buy my own whistle. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather get a new one. That's kind of my opinion with a lot of things. It's like if I'm just if the idea of cleaning it or repairing it or whatever is too overwhelming, I'm like, oh, I just need to get a new one, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the same way for sure.
Yeah.
I think Kotaka, however, is on another level of that, though. I think she put out a tweet saying
poor
that.
Kotaka, what is happening in her life? I mean, listen, I also am a person who is like, I saw a great meme where it was like like the buff Doge versus the little Cheems, where it's like the buff. It was about ADHD, and the buff Doge is like, yes, my creative energy is at an all-time high. I can do whatever I want. And then the little Cheems is like, oh, but washing dishes is very hard. And I was like, I was like, oh god, I felt so attacked by that, and like I can't help but look at Kotaka and be like, I want I felt a little bit of a kindred spirit in her when I saw that she was just struggling. So she was like, I feel like I'm just gonna go buy new dishes at this point.
Instead of washing them, she's gonna throw them away.
I'm just
buy
gonna
new
buy
dishes.
some new dishes. You know, when I moved to my current place of living, and it happened to include a dishwasher, I was so happy, because doing dishes by hand is not the one, to be honest. I can't focus on washing dishes for that long, like in any circumstance. It just feels like the hardest thing to do. If I wash dishes in one given day by hand, I'm like, I think about myself, I'm like, God, I could do anything. That was like, feels like climbing a mountain, you know.
I get what you mean. I make sure to do dishes every day, but honestly, dishes pile up, especially when we cook. Like, there's gonna be like tons of dishes by the time like I end up finishing making lunch or dinner. So I always spend like an hour, maybe even more, each day just by doing dishes, which is cool because then I get to use that as a time to, I don't know, listen to new videos about speedrunning. Sometimes I'll be using it to listen to, of course, my NIJISANJI senpais, but honestly, mostly it's just watching videos about speedrunning.
Me too, honestly. I just love, like, playing some game on one monitor and then getting some really interesting YouTube video up on the other. I've been in a bit of a pyrocynical phase recently, like watching his longer essay-style videos about, like, Half-Life.
Yeah!
Yeah, those are always so fun to watch. Like, what's it called? Cry of Fear? His video about that was so much fun to watch. I really enjoyed that. I've been really enjoying his content recently.
Yeah, I forgot which one it was that I watched a whole lot of, but oh yeah, I think it was like the best and worst show you haven't seen, something like that, and it was like 8 hours long.
Oh, the Utopia one, yeah.
Yeah. It was 8 hours long, but I swear, it just went by, and I was like, what happened to my day? I
still haven't seen that. Oh my god, it is 8 hours long. I still haven't seen that video. I saw it come out, and I was like, wow, and I watched like the start of it, but Jesus, 8 hours? I didn't know it was that long. Oh my god.
It's definitely one of those videos that you have to put on, like, while you're, I don't know, doing something mindless, like doing laundry or dishes and stuff.
It reminds me of this guy called White Light, who does like sort of essay style videos, and he did one which was an 8-hour review of Death Stranding, and I watched that whole thing. That was a great fucking video. Like, it really used up all that time really effectively. And I've already played Death Stranding, and I love Death Stranding, and I listened to that, and I was like, damn, this is a good, really insightful review of a game that I love. I was like, god damn, fair enough. Like, I just listened to the whole thing.
Never heard of White Light before, but now that guy's got a new sub.
Let's go.
Yeah, adding to the collection of videos to sleep to.
Oh god, definitely. It's like, there's this great album on Spotify by Max Richter, who did like the soundtrack for some really big films. If you've ever seen the movie Arrival, there's like...
I've not.
There's a beautiful violin song at the end, and it's composed by this guy, and he made an album, which is like a sleep album, and the whole point of it is that it's not just a little bit of sleep music, it's 8 hours of sleep music, and the whole point is that you start it when you go to sleep, and then it will finish as you're waking up. And it's supposed to match your circadian rhythm, and it's supposed to match like the cycles of sleep, like REM sleep and all of that kind of stuff. So the music changes to benefit the different stages of sleep. And I've never really been able to use it, because whenever I resort to using music to get me to go to sleep, it's already too late. You know, it's already like I've only got 6 hours left before I have to get up. So I feel like at some point, At some point, I need to, like, properly do that and, like, wait. I feel like if I actually listened to the entire album and woke up as the album was finishing, I would just feel so rested. I would be like, ah, yes. Time to tackle the day.
One day, you'll find the time to. Actually, Vox Senpai, how many hours do you sleep per night, usually?
It varies a lot. So, let's take, for example, since I came back from Japan. The first couple days I came back from Japan, I slept through the entire day, so I would fall asleep at like 8 a.m. and wake up at like 10 p.m. Like, that was like my couple of days I got back from Japan. And then, for a while, I was like a massive rising grinder. Like, I would go to sleep at 11 p.m. and wake up at 5. And
God.
I always aim for 7 hours minimum. If I'm on 6 hours, I'm always a bit groggy throughout the day. If I'm at 7 hours, I feel like, I can deal with it. If I get 8 hours, that's like prime. You know, that's the best. But 8 hours, especially when you're busy, like, it's difficult to find 8 whole hours to sleep. You know.
Exactly.
Especially if you just, with this job, you know, you're doing work late into the night, you suddenly get a Slack ping from staff saying, do this, do that, and then you're just like, all right, I guess I'm going to be up for a few more hours. And obviously with time zones, you know, you sign up for the collabs. I mean, my life for a couple of days was WrestleSanji. 100% my life was just WrestleSanji because I went to sleep in the morning, woke up 2 hours before WrestleSanji began, casted WrestleSanji with like the announcer thing, went to sleep, slept through the entire day, woke up, did WrestleSanji day 2, went back to sleep. Like, that was just my life for a little bit. I was so happy for that opportunity, but goddamn, it began at 2 a.m. for me, so I had to be up there. Thank fucking God the apartment I live in has very thick walls, and I've never gotten like a noise complaint, because I was yelling all night.
Yeah, but actually, some of the things that you would do when you were casting WrestleSanji was like what I forgot who it was, but no, it was me. I remember. You were like, DOPPIO. DOPPIO. I imagine.
DROPSCYTHE. Jimmy Neutron movie.
But, you know, when I heard that, I was a little bit worried that some person, maybe like, I don't know, down the street or something, would think that you're drilling a hole into something.
Well, I'm glad you thought my voice was that powerful, but no, thankfully, I live in a place where no one can really hear me, thankfully, so I feel as though I'm good to make lots of noise in the dead of night, which is definitely very comforting. I'm glad that that's something I'm able to do.
Heck yeah. One day I hope to be able to do something like that too. I'm a little bit afraid about, I don't know, getting noise complaints and stuff. But one day I'll be living the dream too. Hopefully. Be able to scream into the night, howl at the moon.
Go. Okay, I've got an interesting question for you. So this is from CarrotRGB on Twitter. We all know that with bare hands, my lord has a slight edge, at least in NIJISANJI and WrestleSanji. But if we were to fight today and use weapons, who between us do you think would win?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the weapon.
I mean, what weapons do you use? Do you have weapons?
No, I just use my fist.
This guy is a school child, and I'm an ancient demon from hell who has lived hundreds of years upon this earth. Maybe it's not exactly a fair question.
Hey, I think you're counting me out a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
I punched a car, and the car broke.
That's true. You're like Edward from Twilight.
Oh, yeah, he punches, yeah.
He punched the car.
To save Bella. Oh my! Hey! Remember how before we had that one question? What's one of your favorite
guilty pleasures?
Like, guilty pleasures. Yeah, Twilight is one of them. Like,
of yours?
Like, it's so funny.
Twilight's one of mine too. I love Twilight.
Oh, for real? You love it?
I actually love Twilight. Genuinely. Okay. Wait.
It's legitimately so funny.
I've only seen movies 1 through 3, so I haven't seen any of Breaking Dawn yet. I'm watching those very, very soon. But I met some old buddies of mine, and they like tried to get with like, no, dude, you're gonna watch Twilight, and I was like, oh, fine. And I watched it, and I was like, Like, it genuinely, I was so invested the entire time. Like, I know it's not good. I know they're not good films, but something about, like, trying to choose between, like seeing, like, okay, first of all, Edward is the cutest motherfucker on the planet. I fell in love with him in the first film when Bella was like, you never say hi to me, and he said, hi. Like, and I just thought, like, oh my god, he's so cute. And then Jacob in the second movie is like mid, and then in the third movie, Jacob is like an asshole. Like Jacob is like, what is it? He like forcefully kisses her, and then she punches him in the face, and people are still Team Jacob. I don't understand. Like Edward is so mature and considerate of her needs and everything. I don't know. I get so invested in that shit. Also, what is it? Edward's dad, Carlisle, he's based. I love him. Like, and the visual chemistry between him and Bella is like really sus, but kind of hilarious at the same time. I've been getting really into it. I don't know why. Something about having no expectations going in and then seeing that it's actually fun to like get into. I don't know. I think it's so fun. I love Twilight.
I think it's actually like one of those things that if you go into it expecting that it's gonna be like a bad movie, I think that you're able to appreciate it a little bit more.
Oh, 100%.
Because some of the things that they do is like absolutely ridiculous, but you can tell that somebody who was like directing it or doing something with it thought it was like the most cool thing. Like in the first movie, they start playing baseball.
Yeah, the baseball
like
scene. I was like,
why are they playing baseball?
I love the baseball scene from that film so much because it's so like, also just the VFX, the visual effects on like the vampires running with the blur and everything like that. It's such a perfect time capsule of like girls' entertainment from the late 2000s or like the mid 2000s with like all of the rock music and those visual effects and everything. Oh my god, it just felt like so nostalgic, even though I had never seen them until recently. And I don't know why. The romance is really effective for me, even though, like, at the end of the day, between Jacob, Edward, and Bella, Twilight is a story about a male manipulator, a massive, eternal, immortal simp, and a complete fucking idiot. Bella is so stupid. She is so dumb. I can't stand Bella. She makes so many, like, who hit you on the head when you were a baby? She is so dumb, but the fact that she's so dumb and all of her decisions change the fate of the entire galaxy, that's funny. That's really funny, and it just makes it so much more entertaining.
I'm almost so disappointed that you haven't watched Breaking Dawn yet, because it cranks up the funniness and how dumb Bella is to like 20 billion.
Oh my god.
Like, can I spoil like one of the scenes that happens?
Okay, one scene. Nothing big. One scene.
Nothing big. Okay. So, how'd that scene go? Okay, so at one point, Jacob goes to the other wolves and stuff. He goes to like a whole bunch of like wolves for like this big wolf meeting. And like all the wolves are like, hey, Jacob, you have to do this. And Jacob's like, no, I will not do that. Because I'm the son of the king. Something like that.
That sounds like fucking Jacob, yeah.
And then instead of convincing everybody else to follow his plan about not doing that, he just turns tail and runs off into the woods.
Oh, Jacob.
And the thing is that this scene is so like, it looks like it's like $10 million with CGI, right? Because the CGI is absolutely beautiful. But then they spend like 20 seconds with like a shot of him just running into the forest. He just like goes little like tinier into the forest. I'm like, what the hell is this? God, I swear, Breaking Dawn is probably the climax of how funny and how ridiculous Twilight is. Yo, we should do a watch along.
We really should. Listen, I haven't seen Breaking Dawn yet. All I know about Breaking Dawn, and I do not want to see any spoilers in chat. All I know.
Look away! They're saying the funniest part. No, don't look.
I'm not looking at chat. All I'm gonna say, chat, don't spoil it for me. All I know is that in Breaking Dawn, there is some piece of information revealed that is so weird and so controversial that it's not, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? It's, are you going to continue watching Twilight? And I can't wait to find out what the fuck that is. I can't
you don't know? Oh my god, I'm so happy I didn't say it then. Okay. Let's go.
Yeah, no, you didn't. I have actually no idea. I genuinely have no idea what's about to happen. And so I'm gonna watch them soon, and I just really, oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what happens next. You know, of every scene in Twilight, there are two that stuck out to me. The number one was when I opened up to the fact that, like, okay, listen. Here's the thing about it, right? If there's one thing I've learned in being Vox Akuma NIJISANJI, it's that the entertainment that I, as a man, have consumed throughout my entire life is very different from what's enjoyed by women. And when I watched Twilight, the first one, which is directed by a woman, I was really opened up to, because I had such low expectations, right? But I was really opened up to the fact that I could tell why it was so popular with girls, especially like sort of teenage girls, and like the element of like that true romance and everything like that. And there were so many different scenes where I really empathized with the fact that it must have been so difficult to be a girl growing up in that era and to have genuinely enjoyed Twilight, and then to get the shit bullied out of you because everyone just had this idea that Twilight was shit, and so did I. So did I, right? And I got it when I watched that scene with, you know, I know it's like easy to make fun of, like the whole, like, I was watching you sleep, like that kind of thing. It's like so creepy. But that scene where they kiss for the first time and Edward is like, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. I was like, oh my god, like my heart was beating in that. I was like, oh my god. Like, I got it in an instant. I got why he's so attractive and why people, why like girls love him so much. And I thought, like, that's so valid. And I just loved getting into the mindset of like a teenage girl and being like, yeah, that's why I would love this. And I thought it was so great for that audience. And then the other scene that I can't stop thinking about is, you know what I'm talking about, the tent in Eclipse, the snowy tent. When
yeah, the snow, yeah, when they're in the ice, yeah,
when Bella is freezing to death and Edward is cold-blooded because he's a vampire, and so he invites Jacob to get all shirtless and cuddle up with her, but he doesn't even complain because he's so mature. And he's so self-confident, and he knows that the only thing in the world that matters to him is her safety, whether it makes him uncomfortable or not. He is uncomfortable. He knows, because he can read minds. He knows that Jacob is Mr. Steal Your Girl. He knows what Jacob's intentions are, but he lets him do it because his only priority is Bella's comfort and her safety. Because he genuinely cares for her, and beyond his own selfish desire, he actually wants what is best for her. Unlike Jacob, who is just some weird kid who is like, yeah, you want me? Huh. You know, it's like, it's so fucking weird that anyone after that scene was still Team Jacob. Like, the one line that sticks in my head so much was when Jacob said, like, you know, if she chose me instead of you, would you kill me? And he said, I wouldn't want to hurt her like that. I was like, he's so perfect. Edward, he's so perfect. I am Team Edward till the end of time, and if anyone in this chat is Team Jacob, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand.
You don't understand. He has abs.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know. He has abs.
If he's a beefcake. I don't care if he's a beefcake. I don't care if he's always taking his shirt off. He's a douchebag. He's a male manipulator. And you, chat, you deserve better than Jacob Black, or whatever the fuck his name. That's his name. Jacob Black, isn't it? That's his name. You deserve better than that, chat. I swear to God. Don't be Team Jacob. He doesn't have your best interests at heart like Edward does.
God, I remember there was that one scene that got like really complicated because Edward saw Bella, and he was like, oh no, Bella died. And then so he's like, I guess I better go to Italy.
That was his first thought. And she's like, oh god, I'm so distraught. Time for my fucking vacation in Cancun or wherever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I remember I watched the intro to
maybe.
New Moon, where she's like the intro to New Moon, where it's like the foreshadowing, like she's in Italy and she's running through the crowd. And my first thought was like, wow, a white woman's having a panic attack in a foreign country. Oh my god! It's so surprising how many interests we have aligned. I can't process this. Because I ranted to my chat already about how much I love that, how important that tent scene was to me as a member of Team Edward. Team Vox. Are you Team Vox or are you? That's an interesting question.
What was that?
Are you Team Vox or are you
my...
Team Doppio? Like Team Jacob or Edward. Then again, I feel as though it's not as black and white, because Team Jacob is just the bad team and Team Edward is the good team. Whereas I can understand, both of our teams have good arguments for them.
I guess so. But, I think the most important thing is, do we get Burger King crowns for it? Because I don't know if you know, but at some point there was this promotion in Burger King or something. I was like, whether you're Team Jacob or Team Edward, you can go to Burger King and you'll get like a crown, depending on which one you want.
Oh my god.
So yeah. So it's so funny how Twilight goes in so hard on every single thing that they do. Which makes it admirable, which makes it endearing, but it also makes it so funny. But at some points, it's also really passionate too. So Twilight is definitely one of those, feel good, guilty pleasure theories. Just, but you'll never catch me reading the books though. Those are way too funny.
Oh yeah, I couldn't read the books. I've heard about. I do honestly. I want to read, what is it? There's those spin-off books that are told from Edward's perspective. I kind of want to read those because it's immortal being finding love in modern day. I feel like I need to read that because that sounds like my life, I'm an old man. I'm an old man like he is. He's 100 years old. I'm 400. I'm beyond 400 years old. I want to I feel as though Midnight Sun, that's it. I feel like I should read those books, just to get some perspective on what it was like for him, because as the ultimate immortal baby girl, I feel as though I need to learn something from Edward, because, I don't know, I feel as though I can't escape being a baby girl. That's just who I am. That's what I'm meant to be. I think that's the same for you as well.
Own it.
And own it, exactly. And so I just need to read that, do my learning. Okay. Now, speaking of vampires, there's another question here from a regular of mine. This is Sosauri, who asks, I know Doppio is preparing a vampire ASMR. Here is a question for Doppio. Have you ever listened to Vox's vampire ASMR? And if you haven't, can you talk a little about how you came up with the idea and any interesting behind the scenes of your ideas process for that? Or rather, if you don't have any behind the scenes, sort of what are your ideas? Not just for that, but ASMR in general.
Okay, so this might sound a little bit selfish, but a lot of the times when it comes down to hearing other people who have done ASMR about a specific topic that I want to pursue, sometimes I'll completely avoid hearing others people do it just because I want to have my own spin on it that's not influenced by other people. However, I'm not really interested in doing tentacles, so I definitely listened to Vox's tentacle.
You did?
Yeah, it was really.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the squish sound effects.
He really listened to me have my hand in a pot of moldy pasta the entire thing. Oh my god! It wasn't moldy; it was overcooked. But oh my god!
Oh, so that's how you. Oh, so that's how you did the sound effects.
That's how I did the tentacle sounds. As I cooked some. I cooked some tomato, I dumped a load of tomato sauce and some pasta, and I left it on for too long, so it was nice and squidgy. And I just had a glove on, and I was just squishing it the entire time into the mic. And it was 2 hours, that ASMR. And so when I took the glove off, you know how when your hand, you just leave it underwater in the bath and it gets really wrinkly? like
wrinkly.
prime wrinkle was coming out of my hands after I had done that. I took the glove off and I was like, oh my god, I'm a raisin. Jesus, it was really bad.
His hand aged like 80 years into the future.
Exactly. I finally started to look my age. It was really scary.
God. I remember that one though because like it was like inverted colors and everything. So weird.
Yeah, that's Tenchi. That's the angel version of me, and I don't know where the headcanon that he has tentacles came from, but it definitely worked for that ASMR.
Another one that I really liked about Vox was the one where like it was kind of like Smash Bros. We're all invited. Oh shoot! I think my thing came out.
Wait. Which one?
It was like a wedding thing, and then
at
the end,
yeah, the third boyfriend one, where at the end all of the Akumaverse characters come and they
yeah.
That was really fun. I did that before I took my month break. Everyone thought you were talking about the gamer boyfriend one, which was a very sus ASMR that I did a little while ago as well.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one, but I remember that one being iconic. The whole, it's a wedding, and then all the Vox Akumas everywhere, from before come out, and they crash it, and I'm like, yo, that's a pretty dramatic, climactic scene, and I thought I want to do stuff like that too.
That's cool. I would love to see what you do with ASMR when you get the opportunity. So I guess like this person is asking about vampire specifically, but when it comes down to it, when you go about making ASMR, what is your, and if you want to reveal it, because you don't have to, what is your plan? Like, what do you want to do with ASMR?
Okay, so the whole reason why I ever got into ASMR in the first place was because I stumbled upon these diabolic lovers, drama CDs. And
I get it.
And the thing is that drama CDs are so immersive, and I always wanted to create anime, right? I always wanted to have the power to make anime and stuff, because I've always loved anime. But my hands are really bad at drawing stuff, and I can't really imagine things or make art of stuff. So I thought, hey, what if I just do the voice acting and add sound effects, and that's it. You can close your eyes and imagine the anime in your head. So the kinds of ASMR that I want to do are like ASMRs that are really, really, really that you can close your eyes and you can listen and you can feel that you're transported into a completely different place. But I guess those aren't really ASMRs, those are more drama CDs. But what I plan to do though is like, so on a day that I release the drama CD, maybe a day after or a day before, I'll do a take of it live with like a 3DO or something, and just do what I can live. But I think that definitely my wheelhouse is the whole adding sound effects and editing stuff together to make it really feel like you're in an anime that I directed myself.
That's so cool. And like that's so perfect, because I see my ASMR as like make-believe filmmaking, in a way. Because not all of it is like super sexual. A lot of it tends to be sort of like plot driven and stuff like that. And what I will say, I definitely get the drive to like make something pre-recorded and edit it. But what I'll also say is like with OBS, you have the power to make something very cinematic and to like really sort of come up with some wizardry that's going to make it work live, no matter what the complexity is. Do you have a Go XLR?
I do have a Go XLR.
With the Go XLR, you've got that sampler on it, so you can add up to 12 sound effects, or more if you have them in sequence behind one another on the same button. And that way you can just, you know, let's say you've got some setting that requires sound effects. You can summon specific sound effects at a given time as long as you know which one is on which button. And then, you know, that's what I did with my secret agent one, is that on one button I had like a shoot gun. On the other one I had crawling through vents. I had like codes, doors opening, that kind of stuff. And there's so much that you can do with the technology that's provided, like the Go XLR and OBS. I remember the most plot I've ever done is on the Mad Scientist ASMR. I worked really, really hard on that one, and I guess the stress is getting it all to work, like with complex sort of scenes and design elements, getting that all to work without it fucking up. But if you really go for it and you like trust in it, and remember that your audience are going to understand if it does go wrong because it's live, then you know, they'll get it, you know. And so I think that just putting yourself out there and doing that is it's incredibly important, you know. I would really encourage you to like understand how much power you have to just do something live. And I think that given your sense of humor, you've got a lot of power to do something improvisational. But obviously your process is your own. I'm just saying, I think you'd be great at it personally.
Aw, thanks, Luxiem, but that actually means a lot. I don't know, all the whole reassurances and stuff makes me really feel that I can do it. I don't really have any experience yet with doing it live, so maybe someday down the line I'll be brave enough to do it live. I think the thing I'm scared about the most, though, is thinking up of something and then just laughing at my own joke and then ruining the whole... and then ruining the whole experience.
I know,
because I laughed at my own jokes.
I know you're worried.
It's hard not to.
But you will get better at it, because I'm going to tell you a story. Have you ever seen the very first strictly roleplay ASMR that I did, where it was like historical setting and it was like set in a medieval prison? You know, have you ever come across that one? So,
I've not.
It's fine. In that one, I was in character the whole time as myself, and I was like, sort of the viewer is like imprisoned, and I'm like goading them and torturing them and all that, and it's like a very sort of like a bondage scenario, and it was very hot and it was working, and I was in character and I was like, yeah, I love this, they love me, and I was into it. And then I tried moving myself around in the Niji app, and suddenly I hit right click by accident and I twisted myself, and it looked like I fucking fell over. And when I watched that happen, it shocked me so much. I went, whoa. And like, after all of that, like build up, after all of that, like, oh yeah, you know, yes, and all of that, I fucking fell over flat on my face, and I broke character. I just sat there and laughed for a little while. And that was probably the most memorable moment from the entire stream, was me just like pratfalling on the ground, you know.
Slipped on a banana peel.
That's exactly it. They just threw a banana peel at me, you know, and then I fell over, and that was that. But what it means is, if you fuck up and if you make a mistake while live, they'll get it and it will be fine, you know. Or like with the butler ASMR I did, where I accidentally didn't remove the death sound effect from the mermaid ASMR, and so it's this very soft ASMR where the butler looks after you, and at the end he eats you alive by accident. And I literally, in the outro screen, I was like, shit guys, I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Like, fucking hell, I was like, god damn it, I messed it up. Like, but then you edit it out and it's fine, you know.
I think that's actually commendable, though, to be able to look back on some things that, you know, at one point be mistakes, but at the end, now they're just seen as legendary moments that are just positive things that you can look back upon, whether or not they're things that you feel like, all right, I'm just gonna improve upon this, or, you know, this scuff was just so, I don't know, like legendary or memorable that now it's just something that I look back upon with pride. Definitely. So, you know, I think I think I'm a little bit more inspired now to try something live. Whether or not I mess up or not, hey, I think it'll be fun, and that's the most important thing.
I think that if you are genuinely, given your humor and your creativity, if you did something live, I think it would be really fun. But don't take that as me pressuring you. I just think that would go really well. So, you know, if you come up with an idea, just give it a shot, you know. I mean, that was me with, like, the interrogation ASMR that I did, I mentioned, where I slipped over. I remember being in voice chat with Fuchan and a couple other people, and I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna make that last for a whole 2 hours. I was like, maybe I won't do it. And I figured, fuck it, I'll do it. And I was so anxious before it started. I was like, man, God, this is gonna suck. And then I just kind of got into it, and I was like, this is fun. And ever since then, the Akumaverse was born, and then the whole ASMR thing, and the Office ASMR happened. A load of people called me weird on Twitter, but I didn't care because it was really fun, and it was popular, and my fans loved it, and that was what mattered. And so, there you go, you know?
Heck yeah. Let's go, Vox Senpai. That's honestly really cool. Sounds like he was slipping on a banana peel. just going around.
Whoa.
Yeah, he took that banana peel and it's like kept sacred on one of his like trophy collections. Kind of like one of those like Mario Kart trophies, the banana cup. But yeah, ASMR is definitely something that I want to pursue and try to get better at, especially live. And 2 hours seems super duper long.
It seems that way, yeah, like when you get into it. But I guess once you're in character, it doesn't really feel that way, you know. And you just kind of, you learn to, if you can't think of what to say, you just pause, read chat, try to come up with some ideas, and then you just sort of let it happen. Let the ambience and the setting that you've crafted while you're live, let that speak for itself, and don't worry about filling all of those 2 hours with pure words. You know, sometimes just rubbing the ears on that ASMR mic and giving a few kisses, sometimes that speaks for itself, and then you can figure out something else in that time to, you know, to get that sorted. I've genuinely been giving kisses to the audience since I began. Like, that was like my second day. They were like, my lord, can I have a kiss? And I was like, sure. And then it just kind of kept going from there. And I was like, oh, this is nice, actually.
That's true. I think something that drama series kind of lose is the whole interactivity thing to it. That I think that maybe doing it live can unlock some new sort of fun, new sort of passion within just the whole creation of ASMR, the whole creation of anything really. That's actually something that I really came to love about streaming itself. Like going into streaming for NIJISANJI and stuff. I thought that you know, streaming games and stuff would be sort of difficult. Especially coming up with things to say, keeping myself entertaining, finding jokes. But then I kind of realized that chat really does feel like 30%, if not more, of the whole stream experience, and chat makes it fun for me. And I think that just makes it fun for everyone else. So it really is important to have a cool connection with your fans, and hearing how you have such a strong connection with your fans in ASMR is really something that's inspiring to me for sure.
They teach you so much, and they give you so many ideas of how to progress things, especially in ASMR where you might be improvising a lot of it. So the best example I have for this is the Doctor ASMR that I did, where chat's interaction changed the direction of the entire thing. So with the Doctor ASMR, I had a few assets made. There were two scenes. There was one where you're lying down on the hospital bed and the doctor is looking down at you. And then there's another one where you're sat up and the doctor is looking at you. That's all it is. And I intended for the Doctor ASMR to be purely say-so. It was going to be like, you know, you've gone through all these other ASMR with these very sexually explicit men who've like used you in whatever way, and the doctor is like, no, why would you say that? No, it's fine, you know, you're going to be fine. But then I was reading chat the whole time, obviously, and they were like, oh, let me get in your pants, let me do this, let me do that. And I was like, you know, just going through that whole thing, and I thought, all right. And so from the previous week where I had the police officer ASMR, I still had some handcuffs on my desk, so I grabbed those and I was like, all right, I'm going to do a plot twist. And so I was like, okay, the doctor's actually fucked up and he does that. And then I remembered I made from when the listener wakes up in the bed at the beginning and he's looking over you, I was like, all right, we're going to go back to that, and he's now like on top of you and shit. And it's like, as long as you have stuff to work with, just come up with creative ideas for what you think your audience is going to like, and it can be anything, literally anything. You don't even need to have those fancy OBS elements made. You can just say that something's happening and they'll believe it. So the interactivity with chat, I would say, is the biggest way that I enjoy improvising. I mean, I sit there and I improvise for 2 hours, and it's easy for me anyway, because chat make it so easy. They sort of give me these ideas, and I'll, you know, someone will send me a super chat that's like, "How dare you say this to me, you bastard," and I will read the super chat and be like, "No, no, 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 no," and I'll respond to it as though that's what the listener is saying, and it just works. You know, it just works.
That's really cool. That's honestly really cool. I don't know. Chat, if you're hearing this, which you are, please give yourself a round of applause. Please give yourself a hug.
Very good, chat.
You're really making it easy for us to be ourselves. So honestly, thank you. This drink goes out. This tip goes out to you.
They're traumatized by the sound of me clapping. But
oh, okay.
Never mind. No, I won't tell you about that. Anyway, so yeah, no, it's really interesting, and I'm glad that you have a vested interest in ASMR, and I'm sure that when you get around to it, it's gonna be really, really good. I'll definitely make sure to check it out.
Hell yeah. First episode is coming out Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday. This Monday.
That's pretty soon. All right, I'll look forward to it. Shit.
Heck yeah.
Okay, I got another question for you here. This is from Lily Fraser. What would be your ability in a superhero movie or game?
So I can't pick really strong punch.
Sure, you could. Super strength? Why not?
Because I already have super strength. If I say super strength, then that means I'm just living my life as superhero. But I guess in real life I don't really have super strength. It's really just used for punching. So it's kind of limited to the form of, okay, so if I wanted to lift this thing up, I have to like punch it up. It's a really strange level of limitedness. I heard that there's this like one really cool expression that says, the things that limit you are the things that help you be the most creative. So I think that okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but I was watching some episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race, and they had to create a dress using some kind of, I think what they had to do was like they had to create a dress using like bargain bin things, like things that you would get at like Staples, like notebooks, papers, like Post-it notes, things like that. And it's a really strange stipulation. But some of the dresses that they made were absolutely insane. And I was like, you can make a dress using colored pencils and markers and stuff. That's crazy. So I guess I kind of like my ability to punch things creatively. But I think that if I had to pick another superpower, like maybe I don't know. I've always wanted to be like Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, those are great powers. Just being able to swing off of buildings.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, being able to climb walls. Spider-Man's got a great set of powers. And actually, in that tweet, they got a picture of Spider-Man. You know, or like the 60s Spider-Man pointing at the other Spider-Man, like, "Hey, you're another Spider-Man," whatever it is.
Oh, yo, I love that. I love that era of the internet where everyone just started using Spider-Man memes to like describe everything that they do.
Hey, Spider-Man, you seeing this shit? I really enjoyed that as well. You know, if I had a power, I do have some powers, but if I was to have one, if I was to pick a power that I don't already have. I don't know why. I love the idea of like the stretchy power, you know?
Oh, for like Mr.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mr.
why.
Fantastic.
That really speaks to me. Like the idea, I just think not only would it be really handy and useful in day-to-day life, it would also be very funny. You know, like imagine some, like you're just out in the world, you're just walking, and some kid kicks his football onto the roof of like a skyscraper or whatever it is. And he's like, "Oh man, I lost my football." And I'm like, "Not to worry." And I just reach up and it goes, boop, and I grab it, and I'm like, there you go. And they'd be like, ah, and they just get really scared. I just think that would be so funny to have. And I feel like it would also be really useful for transportation. Like, you could just sort of, like, stretch your arms, stretch your legs, and, like, run 7 times as fast. Like, just stretch your legs out really far and then just take 1 step to get home or whatever it is. I don't know. I would really enjoy just being able to stretch around, because not only would it look really funny, but it would also be kind of weirdly practical in a sense. Like, I could just be sat down and then just stretch my arm over to the fridge and grab a pint and then just be like, ah, nice. And then I don't even have to get up. You know, I think that'd be great.
And then when you go meandering into the woods one day and some camper takes a picture of you, whoops, now you just became Slenderman.
Now I'm Slenderman.
Yeah,
Slenderman. I don't know. I really want to, that would be funny. If I had a superpower that let me look weird, I would use it to fuck with people. Like, I would be in the woods. Yeah. I would like stretch my body into a weird shape, wear some weird clothes, walk into someone's back garden, and then they walk at me, and then they look at me, and they're like, oh my god, what is that? And I look at them and I say, April 12th, 2049, you will die by falling out of a window. And then I just walk away.
Walking away like a slinky.
Exactly, just boink, 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 boink. If I ever have the opportunity to convince someone that I'm some kind of eldritch SCP being or whatever the fuck it is, I'm going to use that to my full extent, and I am going to make them believe that they will die on a specific date of my choosing. Whether or not they will, who knows? But I'm there to fuck with them, and that's gonna live inside their head. They're gonna assume it's fake, but they're not gonna know whether or not they should believe it. They're like, did I dream that, or was that some crazy man? That's enough for me, just to fuck with someone. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I really love how a lot of your humor comes in from like messing with people and like messing with people's expectations. I think that's probably one of the coolest things ever. Like, I always love the idea, even for myself, to, I don't know, like sometimes what I'll do is like, I'll play like a horror game, and instead of getting scared of the horror game, I'll just like turn it into something like really soft or something really comforting. And then the other day I played this game called Unpacking, and I turned it into a horror stream.
I heard some people in chat, they were talking about like, oh my god, not the alternate evil ending for Unpacking.
Yeah, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. So in Unpacking, you're supposed to, yeah, in Unpacking, what you're supposed to do is like, you're supposed to put everything into like its natural order. Like, clothes go into the closet. But if you want to get the secret bad ending, we have to do like really ridiculous things, like making sure that there's absolutely nothing in its place. And if the house is already furnished, you have to like unfurnish it by putting things completely into different places. Like, I was putting panties on top of the stove.
I've seen you say like, panties go on the stove.
Yeah, exactly. And if you do all of that, then you get like a completely like different ending. And yeah, I think you should. I think that if you want to have one of those subversive like streams, I think it's something that you could definitely.
I like that idea. I'll definitely check that out. And you can just, because that's the thing with streams, you can be as creative as you want, and OBS gives you the power to make like custom scenes where you can do whatever the fuck you want. You could edit something in advance to give something a different ending. Who knows what you'd be able to do just to surprise people at the end of what they think is going to be a normal gaming stream. I love that. I think that's so creative. It's like Ike did when he played the Undertale Genocide route, and then he like. And then Eki showed up with Mr. Train Station showed up with his knife, and it was like a whole improv bit. I was like, damn, man, that's cool. I played the Undertale Genocide route, and I was like, Lamau, guys, thank you for coming. I beat Sans first try, bye-bye. And then I just logged off, whereas he was like coming at it with all the creativity. You know, I thought that was so cool.
Let's go, Ike-senpai. I think one thing I want to do with Unpacking, though, is I want to eventually get into speedrunning the game.
Speedrunning Unpacking, oh my
God. Yeah, well, I'm gonna try getting like a bunch of members in NIJISANJI into it, so that we can all try getting the Unpacking world record. Because it's supposed to be like the most chill game ever.
Hang on.
But you can
Unpacking speedrun. Let me look this up. Is it on speedrun? Yeah, speedrun.com.
Yeah.
Unpacking. What's the world record? The world record is
30 minutes.
by Mr. Game and Draw. 29 minutes, 18 seconds. Oh my god. You know what?
Doesn't that seem beatable? Yeah,
it does seem beatable. And you know what else? Like, the second place is 31 minutes, third place is 38. It's not a very competitive speedrun. You could genuinely do that.
Exactly. We could literally take over the world in unpacking speedrun.
The unpacking speedrun, the top 10 is all NIJISANJI members. I would kill for that. That would be so funny. That would be so funny.
Right? Isn't that like the funniest thing? I swear. Yo, Vox Senpai, we should totally do it.
Let's do it. Let's try and figure out some optimal, like, there must be skips as well. Like, there must be some kind of like speedrun skips.
Well, maybe, but I think most of it is just like clicking optimization.
Yeah.
So you just literally just like click. So it's nothing complicated. Like, you don't have to learn anything frame perfect.
It'd be a lot of learning because you need to learn what is in each of the boxes. So you need to learn which box to click on and then where exactly to put that. Because the worst thing imaginable would be putting something in a certain place and then for that thing to not work. So if you can just immediately, every single second, get something from a box and put it in the right place immediately, then you're settled, right? Like, you figured it out immediately. And I guess it's like, instead of like just grabbing it and being like, oh, I guess I'll put that in the kitchen. It's like I pick something up and immediately in your brain you're like, oh, shampoo, bathroom, boom. Next up, umbrella, porch, boom. And then you just kind of like keep going like that. Oh my god.
And then I think there are two categories. There's like one category that's like playing it normal, like putting, clothes in the clothes places, pillows on the pillows places. But there's also the bad ending leaderboard. And I think the bad ending leaderboard is actually slower, even though it's crazy because you could just put everything. Yeah, you could just put everything on the ground. But I think it's because it's so hidden. I think that it's legitimately one of the more free categories that we could just take.
Does unpacking have a bad ending?
Yeah.
I've never found it. I thought that when you described the bad ending, I thought it was like a joke thing you did. I didn't know it was like actually in the game.
Yeah, you get these things called so when you play the game normally, you get these things called golden stars when you beat the level. But if you put everything out of place, you get a dark star. So then you get the dark star ending instead.
Dark star. Oh my god. Yeah. No, I see what that. Oh my god. I need to try that now. I never knew that game had a because I always thought it ended with like the little song. It's like, as we unpack our life. I didn't know it could end with like a as we unpack our life. Like it's like some kind of dark thing.
You do get a new ending song. Yeah, that's one of the things. You do get a new ending song.
Oh my god. Hold that thought. I have to go back to the bathroom.
Exactly.
Good luck talking to chat. I'm going to be back in a second.
Again? He's been drinking a lot. You can't lie to me. I'm not lying to my senpai at all. For all of you people who know what the unpacking bad ending is, you know that it most certainly is a bad ending. He's playing P-Golf. No, don't tell him about P-Golf. Don't tell him about P-Golf. We don't talk about P-Golf in somebody else's stream. He's not wrong there. Yeah, there is a remix. There's a remix. He only got motion sickness? Okay. So for those of you who are really interested in what you can do in unpacking, especially in the dark ending, is so you ever played like The Sims? In The Sims, you're able to like put furniture pretty much anywhere you want to, right? The same thing happens with unpacking, but you get to put everything in the strangest places ever. And you kind of find out that you have a whole bunch of stuff, right? You'll just be bombarded with like dozens and dozens and hundreds of clones and little knickknacks and, I don't know, forks and glasses, and you'll have no idea where you can put them because obviously you can't put the glasses in the kitchen anymore. So then you'll have to get creative and put the glasses in the bathroom. And when you put the glasses in the bathroom and the vases in the bathroom and I don't know, and plants in the bathroom, you end up doing weird things like creating like mini Mario Kart courses, perhaps making a new sport, perhaps perhaps seeing weird, strange combinations of things that you've never seen before in your entire life. Like we invented P-Golf. Exactly. Only sidekicks know? Well, if Vox Senpai actually does play Unpacking the Dark Evil mode, I'm sure that he's going to make up his own sports as well. NIJISANJI P-Golf tourney? No. But hopefully we'll be able to do an Unpacking tourney too. It could be really crazy, you know? Because I know Selen Senpai goes really hard when she plays like a bunch of different games. So... Oh, you know who else goes really hard? Luka Senpai goes really hard. Doesn't he go really hard in Getting Over It? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Luka Senpai might actually be the dark horse in the in the unpacking journey. Definitely. Yeah. What if he watches your VOD? Well, you know, I think that even if Vox Senpai does watch my VOD, I'm sure that he's going to be creative enough to figure out what kind of things that he could do. What's P-Golf? Okay, so to play P-Golf, what you have to do is you sit in your toilet, it's in unpacking, and you have to make sure that you pee in the correct place. You have to like launch it, kind of like in golf. If you ever play like Wii Golf, you have to launch it into cups. Okay, yeah. It's gonna sound really crazy. But that's just the kind of crazy evil things you can do in the evil ending of Unpacking. So just really interested in what Vox Senpai can do with the chaotic evilness that comes from unpacking evil mode. Think he's on to something. I'm always on to something, for sure. 100% for sure. This is somehow something Vox Senpai would say. You know, I think that's something that I'm absolutely surprised about too. I didn't think that Vox Senpai and I would have so many interests together. I mean, Summoning Salt, speedruns, Twilight, those are some pretty specific things. But I'm really glad that I have somebody that I can talk to about this. Now, if only I can get Vox Senpai to play Bug Fables. Though I am getting to play, though I am sort of advertising my way into getting him to play Unpacking. So, you know, little wins here and there. But bonding? Yeah, this is probably one of the most wholesome bonding experiences I've had so far in being a member of NIJISANJI. Vox has played Unpacking before? Yeah, but he's played it the right way. The fun way is to play it the wrong way. Like, I want to see where he's going to put the panties. Is he going to do the DOPPIO and put them on top of the stove? Maybe he'll put them on top of the toilet. Or maybe he'll put them, I don't know, like, next to the dishes. I don't know. My lord really loved Twilight. How many of you did you... Press 1 in chat if you knew that Vox Senpai was super into Twilight. Press 1 if you already knew that. Now press 2 if you were so completely taken aback that Vox Senpai was into Twilight. Press 2 if you were just like flabbergasted, completely surprised, jump scared by the fact that Vox Senpai is such a Twilight nerd. 1. Ooh, really? That's a lot. Ooh, and I'm getting a lot of 2s. I see a bunch of 1s. He talks about it often, that much, for reals? Wow. Very interesting. So it seems that Vox Senpai is really transparent and is somebody who shares his feelings with a lot of you guys. So that's really cool. But honestly, I go into the number 2 category. I was completely flabbergasted that he's such a Team Edward head. Headward. But yeah. Oh my god, it's a shark! Oh wait, no, it's just Vox Akuma. Hello.
I'm a what now? What are you doing? I must say, you're excellent at holding down the fort when I go for a piss. I really have to appreciate that.
Aw, anything for you, Fox Senpai.
Thank you so much.
But yeah.
I really appreciate that. What were you talking about while I was gone? I'm curious. What were you talking about?
Playing how to play golf while you're peeing on the toilet.
Oh yeah, like the little thingy where you've got like the little putter and like the while you're sat down you can just get like a, you know, you play some crazy.
No. You sit on the you set up glasses in front of your toilet, and then you sit on your toilet as if you're, you know, taking a dump, and then you just try your best to pee into the glasses from afar. Oh. It's one of the sports. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like beer pong, but it's one of the sports that, you know, that I created from playing Unpacking on the evil mode. So, you know, it's a really creative, evil, chaotic.
So he's
sport.
A genius. I see.
Yes, thank you for noticing.
Of course. How could I not? Now listen. Now that brings up an interesting question. That brings up an interesting question. You're welcome not to answer if this is going up. This is a little bit TMI. But how do you take a piss when you are, let's say, pitching a tent? Because there are many ways that a man gets around this problem. I was having this conversation with Fuchan. He said he uses the Superman, where he planks on top of the toilet and it shoots straight down.
What?
Yes.
How do you do that? You have to have like a whole lot of space in order to do that.
You do have to have a whole lot of space. For me,
oh my God,
I would always go for like the lunge, where you kind of like position one leg all the way up behind it, and then you kind of like lean downward. But one time, I did go for the mortar strike, where you aim it up and it like you try to arc it over, but it sort of like spreads out at the top and it gets a little bit messy.
Okay, so I guess the way I would describe it is that, for those of you who don't know, when you're pitching a tent and trying to pee, the velocity is a little bit stronger, and it feels like uncontrollable too. But at some point, you kind of get a feel for the arc, and what you can do. So basically, what I do is that I know that if I'm far away, it'll hit the toilet, but then as you continue peeing, the velocity gets weaker and weaker. So I slowly, continuously walk up toward the toilet, approaching it, stomping.
I am the storm that is approaching, provoking. As he walks up and his piss stream gradually gets less and less powerful.
But you feel manly as fuck if you're able to get it all in without making a mess. I swear, it's one of the most.
Isolation. Oh my God, I'm terrified. If I was that toilet, I would be so intimidated. I swear to God.
But you know, sometimes you have to live life on the edge, and it makes things fun. Like if you ever do that, gold medal. Turn that into an Olympic sport. Because it takes so much accuracy. It's legitimately like, I don't know, playing archery with a lot of consequence if you miss. Because cleaning the toilet sucks ass.
I mean, listen. If you miss too badly in archery, you might kill someone. But if you miss too badly in pissing, the worst that will happen is the floor gets some piss on it, which you can always just clean up. It's gross, but you can clean it up. You know.
Yeah, I guess, but you know, it's pretty gross.
I've got another question for you, and this one's an interesting one. For
sure.
So, in our debuts, both of us said that we had a similar goal, which was to voice act in an anime or a video game. If given the opportunity, would you voice a protagonist or an antagonist?
Okay, so I would definitely voice an antagonist. I'm all for the idea that antagonists are the ones who move the story along. I think that antagonists are probably even more important than protagonists. And antagonists are 99% more interesting than a protagonist. I mean, like, in Batman, you only know about... Like, people only care about the Batman villains, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the only good guy in Batman worth anything is Batman himself. Like, other than that, he's, like, everyone else is outclassed by the villains.
Right. Plus, villains get to go a little bit more crazy with their voice acting. Sometimes protagonists are a little bit bland. Chicken breast without any chili flakes, bland. Milk without Pepsi, kind of bland. Well, so I think for me, it'd definitely be like a video game or an anime antagonist. What about you, Fox Senpai?
I am on the exact same boat. I feel like you and I, listen, hear me out. I would play an antagonist as well. We would make a great villain duo. Like, I feel like I would be the sort of the man in the chair supervillain, like the Lex Luthor who has all of like the, yes, it appears you fallen right into my trap. And then you would be like the Harley Quinn sort of like crazy ass who is like boots on the ground and is fucking with the hero during their adventure while they're trying to get to me. I feel like that villain duo would go so hard. I would kill to see that in an actual anime.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Oh, I guess we can't literally be villains, but if we ever get fired,
if we ever get fired, let's make our own VTuber agency with blackjack and hookers. I'm gonna be the man in the chair, and you're gonna be the one who fucks up everyone's kneecaps. Like, I'm taking you to the boss, and I'm like, thank you, DOPPIO. I will deal with them from here. You're like, all right, boss man, and then we just move on like that. I think that would be so perfect.
Hell yeah! I don't know what that has to do with VTubers because it'd be kind of.
I don't know how we'd be able to exercise that on VTubers, but I don't know. We do something. We do something. It would be funny.
No, for sure, for sure. I'd absolutely kill for that too. Maybe one day we'll find some way to I don't know, make a comic or something where we can voice something.
That would be really funny. I would kill for that, honestly. Just getting more opportunities to genuinely voice act is so great, and that's why I love the acting collab that we had, where
I love the acting collab.
I'm so glad you had fun because it was so nice to see people really bring in their creative energy. And I wish the hardest part about being the host is I only got to do one little bit of improv. You
didn't get to play.
Yeah, I didn't get to play. I wanted to get to play. It would have been fun.
You didn't get to play.
Maybe I should try getting an odd number so that I can pair up with someone at some point. I think that'd be fun.
For sure. Maybe, I don't know, whenever you want, Fox Senpai, I'm sure everybody will,
I'm definitely going to continue those collabs in future because they were a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. As long as I get to be a part of it then. Save me a seat.
Oh, definitely. No. I'll try and get new people in, but obviously, if anyone wants to rejoin from last time, they absolutely can. And you were amazing. You gave such an incredible sterling performance from last time. I had so much fun doing that whole collab. I thought it was so much fun.
Heck yeah. I mean, I remember that acting collab, just some things came out of nowhere, like the whole cuisine of the crime, and then after that I was like, yo, that's actually kind of genius. I'm gonna use that for the rest of my life.
That is good. Did you come up with that on the spot?
Yeah.
That was so funny. I figured you would have gotten that from somewhere else. It's like, yeah, you can't find me because I'm with the cuisine of the crime. That sounded like something you had written down months in advance and you were waiting for the right moment to use it. I can't believe that came up in the moment. That's so clever. What the fuck?
Yeah. But I think, like we were saying before, I think that the limitations and the pressures and the... I don't know, and putting creativity on the spot is something that really makes things legendary, something that makes things shine. So I'm really excited to go back into the arena and see what else we can cook up, for sure.
I wonder how I would change it up for next time, what different sort of games I would do. Because whenever you go online, you try to find drama school type games. All of it is physical stuff, and obviously us being 2D characters, we can't be all that physical. So it's a little difficult, but finding some would be good. I just definitely need to figure this out and try and do something interesting. I'm just so glad it went well because I was really anxious the first time because I knew it was like a kind of an ambitious idea, and I'm just glad everyone had a good time at the end of the day.
No, it really was a good time. And I think a part of it was that you prepared so much for it. I mean, the whole thing that you did with the Humpty Dumpty.
That was great. I came across that idea, the whole nursery news thing the night before, and I was like, oh wait, I have an idea, and I made like the Yowie face Humpty Dumpty, and I was just photoshopping that like the few hours before we started, and I was like, this is good, this is good.
It just falls down. Oh, crying. I remember
all the
looking
king's
at
horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty together again.
Of course not. His guts were all spilled out onto the ground.
Oh god.
I think my favorite part though is that how you got like the most regular wall I've ever seen in my entire life. Like...
I literally, it was just download field from Adobe stock, download a brick wall from Adobe stock, download egg from Adobe stock, and download anime face from Adobe stock, and just Photoshop that all together. Use a little bit of 3D to make the wall shift a little bit, you know, give you guys some space. And then after that, I was like, shit, I guess. Yeah, no, that works.
Oh shit! I thought it was actually like a random brick wall that you found in Google Images or something.
No. I got to download stock footage. You know, I was like, yes, I'm gonna pay for a license. Gonna make sure I've got the right to use this copyrighted brick wall image. And then it worked. It was fine.
Yo, I think it'll be awesome next time. Maybe in order for you to enjoy it. I think if I'm able to be a part of it, I'll see if I can come up with some things myself for you to do as well. I think that might be cool.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, or perhaps if I come up with some of those group activities, maybe just sort of jumping in and being like, all right, you know what, you person, you don't have a partner, your next opponent will be me, like Master Shifu. That'd be good.
Oh my god. I just remembered. Okay, hold on. Forget what I just said for now. I gotta remember the name of that of this one movie that I think that you'll absolutely love. I think it'll be a really good exercise for a drama class. Hold on, let me just Google it. But yeah, let's continue.
Would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games unlimited game and no games?
What? Say that again.
You've done it. You've done it. Jade Oracle on Twitter. You have managed to outcook the chef himself. Would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games unlimited game and no games? I don't know what it means either. It confused me, and I figured I would throw that one out there.
I was wondering if I was having some kind of like hallucination, like an auditory hallucination, because I heard the word bacon like 20 times and the word game 20 times, and I'm like, I don't understand. Do I want bacon or games?
I feel like I could sooner live without bacon than live without games, because there are many fantastic cuts of meat. If it was like, yeah, live without meat, I would be like, nah, I couldn't be a vegetarian to save video games. There's no way. I would pick being a carnivore over video games, to be honest. All my streams from that point would need to be just me getting yakiniku or whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could be a vegetarian. I thought about being a vegetarian. I thought about being a vegetarian once. I couldn't do it. I really like the taste of meat too much.
Me too.
But I thought about it. I thought that if I could use it to healthify my life a little bit, I thought it could have been something worth doing. But I didn't feel like it fit me too much. So
I've definitely had those same thoughts. Like, wow, what would my life be like if I was vegetarian? Would I be healthier? Would I be happier? But at the end of the day, meat is just too tasty. There's just no way around it. It's just too good. I can't stop having beef, chicken, pork, duck, whatever it is. I just...
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that I feel like it's really hard to find things that aren't me. Oh, I found it. It's Sandman. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So there's this Netflix series called Sandman. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I know Sandman. I haven't seen it, but I know about it.
Okay, so there's this one scene where Sandman fights Satan in this fight.
Oh my god.
And in this fight, what they do is that they legitimately play like this like this game that children would play. It's kind of like, I take on the form of a beast. And then the other one says, well, I take on the form of an arrow. And then the other one says, well, I take on the form of a meteor.
Oh.
I take on the form of the atmosphere. I take on the form of the black hole. So it's really, I think it's really, really, really a cool scene, like how they direct it. But I was also thinking that it could be like a basis of a really interesting improv game. Because you would have to sort of like think about what beats what.
I am writing this down. I'm writing this down right now. So let's think about this, right? Improv game where someone comes up with an idea for a superpower. They're like, I have the power of flight, let's say. The next person has to immediately think of a power that defeats that power, and then the next person to think of a power that defeats that power, and then it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. That is so funny. I'm using that for the next one. I swear to God, that is so funny.
Right? Yeah, I knew it. As soon as I saw that scene, I was like, yeah, I have to tell Vox about this someday.
Think of a power that defeats other person's power. I have written that down. I am ready for that. That is going to be so funny. I can just tell already that is going to be the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, and considering like the imaginations of like the other like senpais and people in NIJISANJI, I can just already imagine that some of these questions some of their answers are going to be really absurd and really funny. Like the power of those dishes. Who's going to beat that? How can you beat that?
That's going to be really good. No, I want to organize one of those collabs for soon. I don't know when it will be, but I'll definitely try and get that figured out pretty soon. Okay, we are in the last sort of 15 minutes of the stream before we have to wrap up.
What?
So, yeah, it's gone by so fast, hasn't it? It's almost been 3 hours. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask you kind of, not necessarily a personal question, but what are your ambitions for your career? Or whether it's in NIJISANJI or beyond, what do you want to do with these gifts you've got, like this humor you've got? What do you want to do with that? What is something that you would love to see come of your hard work at the end of it all?
Well, so there was this one moment of my life. Actually, it was actually another moment where I was taking a shower, and I had a near-death experience, I think, because there was like a live wire that kind of happened with a hairdryer and stuff, and I didn't get shocked, but I thought about it and I thought, yo, I could have gotten shocked, and I was like, if I gotten shocked, then that would have been the end of my life, and I thought to myself, yeah, hey DOPPIO, if you died right now, did you make enough fun in the world? Did you make enough fun for yourself? I was like, I guess not. So then I was like, okay, so I guess the rest of my life is going to be dedicated to just making things more fun for people, for myself. I don't really understand too much like what's going to happen in 5 years, 2 years, maybe even like 2 weeks from now, but if I can make every day fun for me and for the people that I hang out with and for the people who watch me, and I think that I'll be pretty much proud of myself. There's this anime called Ashita no Jo. It's a boxing anime, but I wanna like highlight the title. Ashita no Jo. The name Joe is the main character, but Ashita is tomorrow, and I just want to make tomorrow my tomorrow, the tomorrow of Vox Senpai, the tomorrow for all the people watching, the tomorrow for all my teammates, for all the people who believed in me. I just want to make tomorrow like something that, like, I want to make tomorrow a day that is really, really, really full of fun and smiles, and also a day where we can look back at the other times that we had and say, hey, you know what? I'm proud of the days that we had because they were full of memories that were just full of fun and stuff. Like, it's I guess it's not that deep or complicated or whatever, but it's just simply, let's just have a good time, honestly.
I love that. I really love hearing that from you, and like, Because that's what this business is all about. This business is about creating content, and content is about having fun. It's about creating something for whoever will watch it that's going to make them smile, that's going to make them laugh. And I feel as though a big mistake that so many people make, you know, when they're trying to get a leg up and they're trying to find success in this community, and all they can think to do is complain about somebody unfollowing them, that they forget that the main ingredient in success is content, and it's content that is fun, and being able to make something that makes people smile and makes people laugh. That's the correct journey forward. So I really enjoy that perspective, and I think it's going to take you far. I love that you've come to that conclusion and that you're going to be able to do that because your content is honest and it's exciting, and I love what you're able to do with that. You know, I'm really happy for that, and I am, as your senpai, I think you're going to go really far with that. I like that.
Aw, thanks so much, Luxiem, that means so much to me. I hope that we can collab more in the future and honestly combine our powers to make the world even more fun and stuff.
Yeah!
Hell yeah. I remember Markiplier, for example.
I love Markiplier.
Yeah, me too. Like a long time ago, mirroring what you said, I think Markiplier at some point was always doing things that kind of felt like he was playing up to what people expected out of him. Kind of like doing a lot of FNAF stuff, playing a lot of horror games, screaming a lot. But nowadays, Markiplier is all chill and he's just like doing whatever he wants. And I think that that's the peak. When you get to the point, when you, as content creators, whenever you or I or the people watching at home get to the point where they're making content for themselves, just having a good time, when they're going to the point where they're just, where they just do it for the love of creating, doing it for the love of having fun, that's the moment where you are at your best. And I think that it's honestly beautiful. So hearing Vox Senpai, I think he's around that area too. But, you know.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is that no matter how successful you become, it's not really about your level of success, it's about your mindset, because I don't feel like I've reached that level yet. I still feel like even though, you know, obviously I've been in NIJISANJI a lot longer than you have, and I've been here for a whole year, I still feel like even though I've got all this success, I still feel like I'm trying to find that next big thing. It's difficult to find comfort, and if anything, whenever I sort of reach a slump and I start doing whatever makes me happy, or I start doing whatever sort of is the next thing that I just feel like that would be funny, I tend to feel like I'm letting myself down, and I wonder what would be bigger, what would be more interesting, what would be the best thing to do for my audience right now. And so, I don't know, it's definitely difficult, because reaching the top and staying there is tough, and it's a lot of pressure. So if anything, I would say that don't worry yourself too much about your level of success, because hi Mika, thank you for the raid. I love your new outfit, by the way. The most important thing.
That's a great outfit.
It's a fantastic fucking outfit. Oh my. It's like. It's sorry. Sorry. I love goth girls. Anyway. Moving on.
Gigantic.
Moving on.
Yeah.
The most important thing that I would try to say is that no matter what your level of success is, nothing can replace the value of your personality, because I feel as though it's this big problem, especially in, you know, the wider YouTuber community, that people will try to sort of calculate the perfect personality to grow and be successful, when that, to be honest, at least for my money, is never going to work unless you're someone like Mr. Beast, who has like genuinely good ideas about how to make that work. The rest of the time, I feel as though people don't consider their audience, they don't consider their content, they just kind of think, I should be successful and famous, and that's it. And that's never what it should really be. I mean, I am successful and I am famous within this community, but I still feel like I want to keep growing and I want to keep doing my own thing. And so what I would say to you is don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about like anything like that, all of the extra stuff that people in this community might tell you to worry about. The most important thing for you to worry about is making something that makes people laugh, making something that makes people smile, because that is going to help you grow in such an organic and happy way with people who genuinely care about you, people who genuinely enjoy the kind of thing that you do. That is so much more important than rushing ahead and trying to sort of capitalize on trends or whatever it is. I mean, if capitalizing on trends and making trendy content makes you happy, do that. But if just making little games and chilling out and doing whatever you want, I mean, you're already, even, you're not on Markiplier's level, none of us are, but even then, you're still on his level where you're making whatever the fuck content you want to make, and that is valuable in and of itself. So don't worry about getting to some insane peak and trying to overtake, you know, the greats or whatever it is. Just be you, and that's going to be all you'll ever need. You will still be so comfortable, and you'll grow. And I mean, look at this right now. Like, you endeared yourself to me to the point where I wanted to invite you on my show because you were so unique and you were just being yourself. Like you said right at the beginning when you had that epiphany in the shower. That's valuable beyond any kind of calculated path for success. That's just art. And I really respect that, you know.
Aw, yeah. Hell yeah, let's drink to that.
Hell yeah, let's drink to that.
Hell yeah, let's drink to that. Yeah.
I'm actually all out. I'm all out of beer.
You're out?
I'm out. I had four beers. Yeah, I need to give that a rest.
I see. Well, I think that Grandpa's over here gotta get a rest, so we're gonna go walk home. I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't accidentally hit any poles on the way.
We're gonna be
with
walking,
his home.
He's gonna make sure I don't fall over. We're walking home arm in arm, and he's gonna make sure that I'm getting back to the castle just fine, and we'll be able to do this just fine. But yes, that is gonna be all for tonight. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. It's been a wonderful time getting to know you better. And DOPPIO, DROPSCYTHE, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure getting to know you better, especially. And do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to share with the chat?
I guess we've been talking about it, but a lot of the things that Vox Senpai said to me about being myself, about being the true me, about not caring about what any other person's expectations are of me, applies to you as well, who's listening in chat. So just go towards tomorrow, being your best self. Go towards tomorrow, loving you, and you're gonna hopefully have a brighter outlook on life and stuff. So, I don't know. I guess the last thing I want to say is thank you so much, Vox Akuma Senpai. I had a blast. I took my first swig of real alcohol. I guess not.
Yeah, technically, but, yes. I'll say, yeah, you did, buddy. Yeah, you did.
The DOPPIO.
DOPPIO. That's exactly what you had, buddy, and I am so proud of it. Oh my god. All right, well, that's going to be all. Thank you very much for joining, everybody. I'm going to go and take a rest because I've been up for a long time. And so I will see you all tomorrow. Well, I'm going to do... what are you streaming tomorrow, DOPPIO? Let me know.
Oh, I'm going to be streaming in a few hours. I'm going to do my first ever membership open thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to unveil some emotes. And I don't know what else, but emotes.
I love membership streams. They're so relaxing, and it's so nice to have like a very small, tight-knit little chat of people who are very sort of like committed about being there. And me, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing an ASMR. I'm going to be a scenario where your boyfriend still loves you even though you are a worm.
Even though you're a worm.
Even though you are a worm. I've been obsessed with that question where all the time it's like some girlfriend asks her boyfriend, it's like, would you still love me if I was a worm? And I really thought about it, and I was like, that makes so much sense because, I mean, okay, not to get on my soapbox or anything, but it's such a thing beaten in, especially into girls, I think, that their attractiveness and their worth in relationships is so heavily dependent on their physical attractiveness and on their youthfulness, to the point where I feel as though the act of, what if one day I become a worm, is synonymous with, one day I will get old and I will be less attractive. And so I think that, if anything, there's nothing more comforting than knowing that if you had someone in your life who cared for you beyond the way you looked and beyond the way you seemed, that they would still love you, even if one day you woke up and you were old and you weren't as attractive, or if one day something happened to you that made you less attractive or just differently attractive, that the person in your life would still love you. I think that that's like I can see why it became such a question, and so I'm looking forward to making something really fun with that. It ought to be good.
Oh, that sounds really exciting. But the question is, would you still invite me to Under the Table if I was a worm?
Absolutely, I would. I don't know if you'd be able to say anything, but I would let you be like, Doppio, what about that airline food? How do you feel about that? And I pointed at Wormpio, and he's like,
Squiggle,
like,
squiggle, squiggle,
squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. And I'm like, oh my god, that was so funny. And I'd try to help you feel as though you were contributing to the conversation, you know, and that's the important part. You gotta make worms feel included. Wormpio. All right, that's going to be all for us tonight, so thank you very much, everyone, for coming. I had a wonderful time. Thank you very much, Doppio, and I will see you all tomorrow for that. Enjoy Doppio's stream in a couple of hours. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Good night. Bye-bye.